also on TikTok, and I'm going to post it up a bit later on YouTube. So here we are again today, and we're trying to get this discussion in the right format, keeping it alive. Whatever has to be done must be done in terms of the citizens and folks of Guyana who are in turmoil at this point of time. There's a national tragedy. Over 100 people have died. And I want you to join me. I want you to share the live. I also want you to like my page, to share it on Facebook and share it on TikTok. Make sure that people can join. And I'm going to post up the video in its entirety on YouTube at the end of this broadcast. So make sure you like the page, you share this live, and you encourage others to join so that we can have a discussion, a healthy discussion on the situation in Guyana, the problems there, developments, how we can help our brothers and sisters that have had this issue come upon them due to no fault of their own. It was not a national tragedy. It was not an act of God or an act of the devil, as we say in law, but it's also very unfortunate and regrettable incident that occurred due to the negligence, disaster of our own making. And this is where, we have ourselves to blame for this, and we have ourselves to thank and to move forward as we talk about the MV Barima tragedy, the Commission of Inquiry, the oil distribution, and how folks can get involved, how they can testify before the commission is going to start in a few weeks' time. So you should prepare your testimony, prepare your evidence, prepare whatever knowledge you have, whatever prior knowledge, whatever you know about the tragedy, and make sure that you can speak about it and talk about it in a way that people can understand, or that you can make a contribution to it. That is what this is all about. So share your broadcast, share the live, and make sure that you too can see it, that you can see what's going on. You can have a say, you can contribute. I have not been able to invite friends or so on, but it'll come up as long as you're on my Facebook or with friends on Facebook or friends on TikTok. It should come up. So make sure that you share the live, join the group, join my group, join my page, share it, and make sure that it can also be solved. And I'll bring on a few guests to join me in this broadcast as we progress further into the show. So let's get the ball rolling. Let's start off with the, we've been asked what are the priority national justice and social economic agenda for Guyana, meaning that what are the most important events that we have to take care of in Guyana. And as much as long as you folks live here in America, I know that your heart is in Guyana, but that does not mean that you would forsake America, the rights, the greatest of this country. You're in a great country, and you need to make sure that you can bring those reforms to Guyana. You can teach Guyanese, you can pass on the knowledge, you can pass on the great constitutional, fundamental, and human rights that make America great, that make it such a great nation, and ensure that Guyana gets out of the petty mode, picking on each other and things like that. What we have to get done here is to make sure that folks can pass on the knowledge to their brothers and sisters in Guyana. Guyana is on the threshold. Guyana is on the verge of becoming a very progressive country. We don't want to see that fall back. And that's why we spend the time on a Friday evening to talk to you, to talk to people in Guyana. This broadcast is seen by people all over, like it, whether you're in New Zealand, whether you're in London, whether you're in Toronto, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in Canberra, whether you're in Auckland. I see someone from Auckland here. I see someone from Nigeria. We have folks from all over the world that listen to what we have to say, because the issues we're discussing here, the social, economic, and political issues of Guyana, the justice issues, are issues that affect the entire world. These are universal rights. These are universal comments. These apply to all situations, bar none. And as you know, the League of Nations, the United Nations, is all encompassing. It has all the countries involved, the big countries, the small countries. That is what makes the United Nations the body of the world. It represents the entire world, the place where all the news, views, interviews, and resolutions are passed, and where the most respectful body in the world is the United Nations. Thank God for the United Nations. That is where you can have a voice, where you can have everything done, where you can have things joined in a way that it can be nurtured and it can be born to make fruit in such a way that people can understand and develop it. So let's start out with the first thing, the priority, national justice and socio-economic agenda for Guyana. And just to round off, what you have to do is that people in Guyana are actually voting more than people in the United States. So I want you to share live. I want you to like my show. I want you to join my group so you can get developments when I'm coming on. As you know, I owe no one anything. I do this of my own free will. I don't get paid for this. I don't ask for money. My groundbreaking efforts to empower people to become the first diaspora in the world to be recognized, that is Little Guyana in the United States, was born by my own sweat, blood, and tears, and my own resources. So that came from me, Albert Baldeo. So whatever you may say, and humans have a small minds, no one has ever walked that path. That path was never dictated. That path was never walked before. I'm the first person. I'm the pioneer who went down that road, and we got Little Guyana to be recognized as on the map of New York, as a geographic entity, as a political entity, as a city, so to speak, as a village. Little Guyana, if you Google it, it's on the official map of New York State and the United States. And yours truly, Albert Baldeo. I started that movement in 2000, ran for office, ran for city council, ran for state senate, lost by 1%, or so they say. I was declared a winner, and then I was cheated out of it. I continued to fight with my own resources, my own blood, sweat, and tears. And sometimes I had people that supported me, and I thank them for that. But on the whole, many of our people did not go out and vote. They couldn't be bothered. They had other things to do. So you in your own hearts must look yourselves in the eye and blame yourselves that you have not reached a greater level of participation, a greater level of respect, and a greater level of dignity. Good night, Imran Khan. Thank you so much, and good night too, and for joining. We have people in Switzerland. We have people all over the world joining us, whether it's on TikTok or on Facebook. I didn't do YouTube tonight, but I'll post this video as I always do on YouTube at the end of the show, because on YouTube I'm not able to look directly at folks in the eye, and that is how I operate. I look at you directly in the eye. That's how I do my stuff. And that is how I look at the truth, and I bring the truth to you and the alternatives. So join, share, tell people to come on. We'll take questions very soon, but I want to round off what we're saying here. We'll take contributions from other people. And please don't join if you feel you're very bright and you're here to teach me. It's very difficult to have people like that who's just there to sort of like sound off, or sort of like to show how bright they are. If you want to show how bright you are, you run for office. You do like what I did. Run against the establishment. Run against established politicians. Run against state senators. Run against assembly people. Run against city council. Put your money where your mouth is. Put your resources and energy. That is a big fight. That is where you make your name like I did. That is where you fight those who are entrenched in power. They may most likely not be American Guyanese. They may be different. Jews, Italian, Irish, they're all Americans, but at the same time, that is where the rubber hits the road. That is where that takes you to a higher level of skill, and that is where you have to be able to compete at the highest level. And that is why Guyana now has got to come out of its mindset of being a poor country, of being a developing country, or as people say, a third world country. Guyana, collectively as a whole, and this must be done from leadership at the top, must tell people that you're no longer the people, the poor people that people look down upon you. You are no longer the Jonestown people. You are no longer the mudland. You were once the breadbasket of the Caribbean. Your time is here again for you to achieve greatness. Let us talk about Dubai. We can be like Dubai, or we can be a great country, or we can, as we say, be the fastest growing economy in the world. So the important thing right now is for our leaders to encourage our people to ensure that they can have the skill set and the mindset and the confidence to compete with the world, not to just throw the red carpet to people who come to Guyana to exploit its wealth, but also to give jobs to Guyanese, lift up the Guyanese folks, and make them all successful and prosperous. And that is a moral driven duty that any leader must have. Not what I see going on now where people have lost faith. I had to look at a show today. There was a group of civic minded individuals, Christopher Ram, opposition leader Mohammed, and like I said, I hold no allegiance to any party. I respect those who have done their work, and I will give them credos. And I bear no apologies to anyone to say that I give kudos or that I appreciate the work of people. I appreciated the work today done by Mr. Mohammed and Christopher Ram and a lot of other folks who came out, the lawyers there, and said they're going to fight this. They're going to make sure the people get justice. They call it the Mercy or the Hero Committee, similar to what I talked about. I guess I look at this show. I'm proud to say we gave them good ideas to form a national committee. Forget the COI. They're just listening to evidence. We're talking about a committee that can help Guyana, a committee that can form, a committee that can make sure that there's betterment in Guyana, a committee that can lift Guyana up, lift up the spirits of everyone, every one of the 6 races, all and across the board, bar none, independent of race, independent of class, independent of color, independent of creed or of affiliation. That is their right to have any party affiliation. This nonsense about you have to be part of the paramountcy of parties has got to stop because there's enough wealth to go around for everybody. The wealth is not only for a small amount of people, it's for all Guyanese within Guyana and sadly to tell you too, outside of Guyana. So then let's have to go to the International Court of Justice to get our share as born Guyanese. We don't give it a priority. We don't want to sue for reparations. We don't want to embarrass the government. We don't want to have to go to the International Court of Justice and show that we're being discriminated across. But take care of Guyanese first. And first and foremost, you have to take care of the 100 people and their families who died. And today what I saw in Guyana was very uplifting because I saw commitment, I saw a plan, I saw a strategy where they're calling on Guyanese leaders to give some money to the people, to give them counseling, to give them as much resources as is possible with all that money that's coming in from the oil. And this comes about at a time when Exxon has said we've recovered our $56 billion and we have also recovered 2 years ahead of time. So now is the time when Guyana's got to show it loves the people. It's not a situation where you say, oh, you know what, I'm not going to be part of this. We are not happy with your comments. We're not happy with your statements. We are going to be targeting people or we're going to be ostracizing them. There's no room and space for that in a democracy. You have to make sure that you can do that and you can make sure that Guyana can lift its brothers and sisters up. So we're going to get that done. And the first priority right now is that a serious leader should address the issues in roughly this order. And I'm just going to itemize them and then we'll have a general discussion. Share the live, share the link, like my podcast, like my broadcast, and send it to other people so other people can get notification. Telling them that justice, truth, and compensation for the MV Barima victims. That's item number 1. Justice, that means whosoever, these people must be made whole. Justice means not only criminal charges. Justice means giving them compensation, due compensation. They have to get due compensation, mercy, and they have to get the truth. They have to get the truth, and they have to get the bodies. I've met a lot of ignorant people on this issue, a lot, and that's the only way I can describe them. I'm sorry to say. I can only use that word. That is the only apt word. I've searched for other vocabulary. Mindless, spineless, degenerate, whatever it is. But it's difficult to describe these people who are saying, who are not speaking up on behalf of the victims. There was a lady many of these people have lost their teenage children. That was the only breadwinner in her home. And I was moved to tears when I saw her story on the life today. And if you don't have a heart, you don't really need to be on the surface of this earth. Because if you're going to be that callous and that vicious and indifferent to human life and human suffering, you really shouldn't be among society. You should go and live in a cave. So people who are thinking like that should remove themselves from society or shut their mouth. You know what I mean? It's a shut up. A lot of people like to spout off nonsense. So there comes a point in time, and a lot of them love to tell more intelligent people like themselves, oh, you're talking a lot. Well, let me tell you, if you have that, you should shut up, okay? You should shut up and listen, because that is where you need to exercise virtue, you need to exercise good upbringing, and you need to exercise those values that make us above the animal, or top of the animal world. You have to rise above basal and animal instincts in how you contribute to society. And that is what we're trying to do here. Whatever you may say about, oh, if somebody speak up against the government or speak up against this tragedy, you're anti-government. Well, you know, that's really utter rubbish. Because people have a right. And the way that you want people to disrespect you is if you don't have an independent heart or an independent mind. And if you're going to say, well, oh, you know, like I met some guy in the park. You might have went to like the big ABC or whatever it is. But, you know, you're supposed to develop yourself. Coming to America and be exposed to GED and all these other classes. You know, educate yourself. Look at the TV and get yourself better. And he said, man, that is politics. And me not attack politics. He said that is politics and he not attack politics. So in the ignorance of his bliss, or in the bliss of his ignorance, he was saying that the death of 100 people, I think we talk about it, it becomes a political subject. I don't know where that's coming from. I hope in Guyana that is not coming from the top. Because if that is how it's being done, then that is a nonsensical dictatorship that has nowhere to go. Because eventually it will reach the international field, it will reach the international institutions, and they will whip you. They will write bad reports about you, they will assess you differently, they will sanction you, and they're going to turn the burn on you. You know what I mean? So from time you're going to pretend that you're a dictator, and if somebody talk bad or tell you about a commission or a justice must be done or compensation must be done, you're going up the wrong road. And if you're demanding that, then you're practicing dictatorship. And that's not going to be something that is good. That's not something that's going to help Guyana. You need to be more independent. You need to speak from your conscience. So, and nobody can speak from their conscience and say, you know what? If you're going to ask for compensation, or if you got something from people of Barima, the MV Barima tragedy, then you must elect the government. You must elect the government. So that's nonsense. That's rubbish. That's the heart of idiocracy. And that's of idiocy. That's what I'm telling you. It's difficult sometimes to define these people and their lack of compassion, their lack of virtue, and their lack of humanity. And saying, well, that is a political issue. It is not. It's a national issue. It transcends all political parties. And we must understand that. Because if we don't understand that, then we are showing a basal level of humanity, or lack of it. We're showing that we're more animal than human, in the sense that, you know, animals don't have, they somehow are not as developed as we are in terms of our emotional displays and so forth. So if one is going to be that callous to and an indifference to human life, it brings them into that basal form of a cave mentality. So I don't want to hear anybody say that once you speak up for these 200 people, that you are against the government. That is utter rubbish. You speak up for humanity. It was a terrible thing that happened, and they must be compensated. Period. It has no political connotations. It has no political discourses there. It's a basic thing. These are Guyanese people. I can understand that argument being made like what happened in Jonestown when we were not connected to that. But if this is about Guyanese, and especially the original inhabitants of Guyana, the Amerindians, then that is very, very much something that we have to take into consideration. So we're talking about salvage and preserve the vessel and all forensic evidence. So when this multi-million-dollar contract brings up this vessel, it must have all the forensic evidence. It must have experts who look at it. It must not only be salvaged to be ravaged. It must be salvaged to be preserved, to be inspected so we can have forensic evidence and the commission can hear about what caused this, who caused what, and who failed where. Recover and identify every victim and provide families with death certificates. Families must be provided with death certificates. It may have to come from the registrar general or from a judge who can show that this person was on the ship the ferry and they went down and most likely they were last seen there and then they sailed off. Incontrovertible evidence, circumstantial evidence, strong evidence, as we say in law, to show that these people died in that tragedy. Funeral assistance. I don't know. People are being given bodies in cardboard boxes or like somebody said in a and one of these sheets, but anyway, with disrespect, sheets and cardboard boxes. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna cut it. You got to give them this in a casket, a proper burial casket. The government must sponsor these things. Give them counseling. Then I heard about online counseling. I heard there's going to be online counseling. Now, in as much as I welcome that development, my question to the relevant minister and ministry is this: how many of those people can get onto a computer like I have and be able to speak to people? How many of those victims are you going to give them a computer? Are you going to make sure the Wi-Fi is good? Are you going to make sure that there's certified counselors there? I prefer you have one-on-one. The human touch, you see, is the most important. This long-distance counseling is never a great thing. If you're going to do people long-distance talking to each other, it doesn't compare to meeting somebody in the flesh, in the face, to feel them, to see their countenance, to observe them closely. You get a chance to see what's going through their mind, how distressed they are, what they're looking at, their countenance. You see all these things. So when you see all these things, it therefore means that that has to be done in a way that it can make sure that we get those situations done. We can get it looked into. So if you don't have that, then we have a problem, because long distance one is that you need to be there. These people need to be put together, perhaps, these victims, if that is possible. They are from the same region, they're from the same area. Perhaps better can be done. We can rethink that process and have it done in a way we can't just say, oh, we're giving them online counseling. We have state of the art. There's no state of the art in Barima. There's no state of the art in charity. You got to go to the people. The minister himself or herself don't have to go, but she has to get the people to understand what these people go through in daily life, to break bread with them, to drink the water they drink. That is when you understand what they're going through, to eat the food that they eat there, to see the deprivation, to see the lack of light and the lack of internet connection and the lack of phone. So you could be one-on-one with them. Counseling not done through a Wi-Fi and through a broad-based internet connection like how I'm speaking to several hundreds of people here at the same time. That is not what it's meant to be. Counseling is supposed to be 1, confidential, 2, in person, 3, very touching, meaning that from heart to heart, and these people have enough money to cover them. You don't have to put them in a helicopter. You don't have to put them in a charter plane. You put them in the same speedboats that we had to go to when I was a magistrate in Guyana and did my duty. Put them in a speedboat and let them go and do the counseling. That's what they get paid for. You can't allow over 100 people suffering and hurting and paining and not finding any kind of recourse. No, you have to do better than that. And hence you have to make sure, and the government has to make sure. That's why I'm calling them out. And somebody says Justice Wayne is welcoming legal luminaries willing to represent the people to join the new hero movement. That was the moment I was talking about, the new hero movement. I have championed that movement. I've given birth to it on this show, and we've talked about it. And I'm glad somebody was listening, and somebody is standing up for his country, and I take my hats off to whosoever is doing that. This doesn't have to do with politics. This does not have to do with politics. This has to do with initiative. This has to do with leadership. And if anybody is showing leadership and the Hero Initiative is saying that he wants to have legal luminaries, then I will certainly volunteer my time. I will volunteer my time to that cause. This is not anything to do with any political party or any movement. It deals with the conscience of a nation. And if you don't have that conscience within you, then you should go and live in a cave, like I said. A cave is the best place for you. Go and live in a cave, have no communication with mankind, because if you cannot feel the pain and you cannot see when people are in need, and you can't help your fellow Guyanese brothers and sisters, and you got money dripping down from oil, and the oil companies are saying we recover we $55 billion, and we come ahead we come ahead 2 years ahead of time, and you can't take charge of that situation as a leader, then something is wrong with you. Something's got to be wrong with you, and you need to be exercised. You need to be exercised, and probably you will be, because you just can't sit back with having all these levers at your control, and all this power at your grasp, and all this influence, and you expect somebody in America who cares, who gets nothing out of this, like Albert Baldeo and all of us here, Apostle, Aunique Passad, all of us that think about these things, we will be the ones caring, and you live in Guyana, you don't give a damn. It doesn't work that way. And I'm talking from the top to the bottom. You need to exercise your leadership. You need to exercise your command center. You need to tell your ministers, I want you out there. I want your team to be out there. I want to see there. I'm going with you. And I'm going to see that we have all these folks, money, burial, counseling, adequate compensation. The lady said she ain't got nothing yet. Her son died. He used to help her in the market. Now he was the only breadwinner with her. What do you expect them to eat? What you expect them to eat? Where you expect them to sleep? How you expect them to get by? Is it because you guys all have mansions and swimming pools and limos and all these fancy stuff? You don't give a darn about the people who live there and are Guyanese just like you? The president of Guyana, the ministers of Guyana, Ejil and Indar, these people are no more Guyanese than you are or I am. As a matter of fact, I'm more PPP and Guyanese than them, because I've been with Cherry Jagan. Cherry Jagan taught me, and I've gotten rewards from Cherry Jagan. And none of you can hold a candle to my awards. Go to my website. Go to www.albertbarima.com and see what he griffed out of the nation, and see what Burnham wrote, and see what Cherry Jagan wrote, praising and thanking me for my work in Guyana before I left and came over here. So don't let's get into that kerfuffle. Go to my website, albertbaldeo.com. Check it out. Whether you hear this about Baldeo, or you see this about Baldeo, or you feel this about Baldeo, put that all one side. Be man enough or woman enough to appreciate somebody from their context, from their content. That is what somebody said. I got a racist behind me with Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was not a racist. Or I know if you're talking about Gandhi or Barack Obama or Mandela or Cherry Jagan. I don't know who the hell you're talking about. But none of these people are racist. And you know what? They said that everybody's equal. That when the measure of a man is not when he stands in times of comfort and happiness, but when he stands when he's down and how he picks himself up. That is a man who goes into the arena. How many of you went to the political arena? Do you think the arena I went to was built by Jagan or Burnham or anybody? I had to go into the arena on my own. I had no godfathers. We don't have any godfathers in America. The only godfather we have is our heart and our soul. That is our liver. That is the only godfather we have. Take it from me, put it in your pipe, and smoke it. We can't call Cherry name, we can't call Burnham name, we can't call Ali name, we can't call Jagdeo name. Those names mean nothing in the political arena over here. I had to come for the bigness. So those who have their, what you call languor mouth, or what you call nasty mouth, or foot and mouth disease, you keep that for yourself. Don't bring that to me. I don't need your foot and mouth disease. I've traversed barriers. Like today, I had to tell a guy, he was saying, oh, somebody talking bad about me. So what? What do I care who talks bad about me? Can they do what I have done? Can they fit into my shoes? Can they walk the walk and talk the talk I have done? And guess what? They don't even give you $1 for your campaign. They don't even go out and vote. And all they can do is wash them out. Guyanese are famous for this. They call it wash mouth. They would wash their dirty, filthy linen that comes from their foot and mouth disease on those who care about them, those who represent them. That a big thief man, some real estate developer said he don't want his name to be associated with me. All he has distinguished himself is thieving out of people's house. Thief the house, take the mortgage, and then they go into foreclosure. That's his main claim to fame. He makes some money from doing that. Robbing people of their houses, stealing the whole house. And then he comes and says, oh, I don't want my name to be put with that man. But I don't give a darn, sir. I don't need people like you. You are the scum of the earth. You are, I don't want to call that name the LL word, but these are the people you have to deal with. So what I've learned in politics and in standing up for people is to stand up for the grassroots. Because the grassroots is what empowers a country. The grassroots is what are genuine people. These are the real people. These are not hypocrites. These are not nimakarams. If you go right now, you'll find a lot of people under a tent and they're all worshiping. But how many of them are worshiping the God, or how many go there to wear on their fancy saris, or think about the Loti Lal, Doc Curry tomorrow in the dance and the and whatever we have, Doc Curry competition? How many of them would say, let me help in a cause. Let me help and send money to these people that need it. Let me make a sacrifice. Let us make prayers for them. Let us sign a petition asking the government to put them right. Because the government, I'm calling on government. I'm calling the government of Guyana right now and right here that you've got to step up. You've got to start sending money to these people. You've got to have full-time counseling. You've got to start showing you care. So share the life so we can get the word out. Share the life, like my platforms, whether you're on TikTok, YouTube, or whether you're on Facebook, and send it around the world. You're not going to get many people that speak truth to power and from a place of having learned that the hard way. You're not going to get many people. I guarantee you, they've not been and much. All we had is a lot of people who lived off Cherry name, Burnham name, and they got into politics like that. None of them ever came from the bottom or from the bushes and beat the track out and then paved it and then made it so others could follow. Right now we have 3 district leaders. I was the one who made them into that. I was the one who, now we choose judges to go on the court. I'm a judicial delegate. I won the most votes in that. We choose delegates to choose judges who understand our people, or we don't put them to sit. We put judges who can be there for the people. That's what we do right now. So my whole life has been public service, All the folks like me went to Queens College and went to the distinguished schools that I went to are all either doctors, dentists, none became a lawyer. Most became doctors and engineers. And they're multi-millionaires. They wouldn't have time to do this. They would laugh doing this. You know why? They couldn't be bothered. They don't have time with stuff like this. They had their barriers. They had their battles. They overcame them. And they owe nothing to you or to anybody else. I am probably the only fool with that level of education and experience who will come with you and the power to change things and the advocacy to come and speak on your behalf. So understand that, okay? That when I come from is a place of concern, a place of pride, and a place of the willingness to elevate you, to teach you how to fight, and to teach you how to be able to make changes and to make your societies and your communities stronger and better. And that is why we're doing this all the way from New York. I'm in New York here in Queens. I'm doing this all the way to the president of Guyana, the vice president, the ministers, and people there. I'm sending them this to let them know that we care, we are calling them out, and we need more of this to be done. There's no ifs and buts about that. This has to be done. And I'll bring on folks very, very soon. I just want to wrap up this. I see 3 people online. I will try and bring them on so we can have a discussion. So we need the death certificates. I've heard nothing of this, of death certificates being issued so people can... Death certificate means you can inherit, you can carry on, you can appoint administrators. All these are services that the government is provide free. It wasn't the people who caused this. You got to pay a lawyer to get letters, testament, or administration, or intestacy to die without a will. The people shouldn't be paying lawyers for this. The Attorney General and the Solicitor General should have money set aside, lawyers set aside, to work pro bono and on behalf of the people to get them their solutions legally, to get them the birth certificate, the death certificates, the missing documents, to give them legal closure, something different from financial and other closure. They will need legal closure because they'll have to look after properties. They'll have to inherit properties. They'll have to maintain properties. They will need standing. They will need the ability through the death certificate to be representatives, whether the people died without a will, which may apply to most people, or if they were supposed to get land, then they can get a land in those people's name. The law is all encompassing, just like medicine. It affects every area of humanity and man and people's lives. So these people have to get legal help also. And I'm not hearing anything from the government. I'm not hearing. All I'm hearing is that defending and deflecting and aborting and negligence. Oh, that's all I'm saying. Nobody's trying to get this thing done. Nobody's getting the government as a unit behind this tragedy. It's all about, deflecting and hiding and bob and weaving. That's not how you deal with a tragedy. This needs all hands on board in the government. And we have enough money, we have enough lawyers. The law school produces like 25 of them. In my time, it used to be like 10 and 15. Now you have like 25 coming out every year. Contract them if you don't have them on staff. You got attorney general's chambers, you got like over to 50 lawyers there. When I was working there, over 10 prosecutors we had. Every day we had a murder case to go and try. Over there and there now, you got some people sit down there in the air conditioner and don't do one thing. They don't do nothing. They don't do any work. The brain getting cobweb. Put them in to file these things for these people, the testamentary certificates, and to get the if they die without a will, to give them testamentary letters. If they died and left a will, then you gotta get probate. Get probate. So give me the stars, give me the likes, give me the diamonds. Share, like, make sure you send this around, so we can get more people looking. We can have people following up on this, and we can make our voices be heard, and you can be notified whenever I come on. Because I won't have the time to come on every day. I was trying to, but sometimes you have to research issues, and we don't just come on here. And I'm not good at singing. I'm not good at BSing. I'm cut from a different cloth. I'm all into the aspects of human life that have to be helped, and that's what I'm trying to fulfill here. Now, they must conduct a genuine, independent public commission of inquiry, which I said they will do, with local, regional, and diaspora maritime experts. You got to get local, regional, and diaspora maritime experts. There are many people over here. You had that Captain Daniel there who drove the MV Barima for 12 years. 10 years, sorry, and he knows it ins and outs and everything wrong with that ferry. You got Mr. Millington, another engineer here, who's in the United States. You got top class people here. You got Guyanese who have come here and distinguished themselves. You gonna hire people who are non-Guyanese to look after Guyanese issue? Why? Are you out of your mind? That's the case, then I should strip those people who have that mindset, take away if they're minister or what, and let them go and work in another country. Send them to Zambia or India or someplace, and see where you can get that chauffeur-driven car, where you're gonna get that all those perks, and how you feel. Then I'll bring you back to your ministry. So then maybe you understand. Oh man, those people don't care about me. Curse me as a Guyanese. I must care about my people. You learn, because easy lesson is good for dance. That way you get better. You become a better person. Like how we were exposed to the American system. Nothing is ever handed or given to us here on a platter. We have to work for it and work very hard. The typical Guyanese who comes here has to work at least 5 jobs. Five jobs to the typical person's one, and he has to work 5 times as hard to get to the same level as somebody who's living here. You take it from me, like I always said, put that in your pipe and smoke it, because it is the fact of coming to America. That's the reality. So if you can't get your act done together in Guyana as a Guyanese nation, then you really would have a problem, and Guyana will always continue to lay at the bottom of the economic ladder. You'll always be looked down upon. You will miss a chance, because oil is not going to last forever. And you need to step up, and step up big right now. Okay? So after that, now you have to investigate the entire chain of responsibility. Ministers, you're not above the process. You are part and parcel of the process. You are very important people to this commission. Let me assure you of your importance. No commission of inquiry can be done in a valid way without the participation, explanations, and testimonies of the ministers. Yes, ministers. These are your ministries. These are your children. These are your portfolios. This is where the buck stops. The buck stops with you. You need to come out and you need to testify. Line up. You'll need to be the first at that commission. Put your hand up. Come to the front of the class. Don't be afraid. If you had nothing to do and you were not negligent and you didn't tell people to pack the cargo with rollers and all that, then come out and talk. Speak no or hear no evil. Speak up. This situation demands your participation. I would call Minister Edgil as the first witness. Minister Edgil, instead of the crew, I'll call him first. You know why I'll call him first? And then probably call him to rebut the evidence to find out whether he had anything to do with this and whether he gave instructions which could make him liable. If there's any instructions or gave or requests that he made or acts that he did that will put him into the train of reckless liability, complicity, aiding and abetting, or acts or omission that can attach to him. Let me repeat that. A minister can be subpoenaed and summoned to the Commission of Inquiry, and as of right, as of his portfolio, it's his duty that Minister Edgil must be first and foremost before that commission, okay? And that particular way is that the minister has to come on. The minister has to come and explain how long this vessel is, what contract he made with the militia, the second vessel, also to other vessels, also to other incidents, whether he directed that certain cargoes was displayed on the ship, whether he directed that certain laws, regulations, or any kinds of protocols with the ship can be ignored, whether he allowed the ship to sail, why he approved the contract for the MV Barima wharf that was supposed to replace this, why certain things were not done on his ministry. And if he comes up and says, well, I don't know, then can you be the minister? How are you going to be the minister in your own house and you don't even know what is being cooked in the pot today? You don't even know what's on the TV today. You can't be a minister. They ain't got nothing like a absentee minister, like how you have an absentee landlord. There's nothing like, oh, a missing minister, a minister without portfolio. You know, I used to laugh at that term when I was a young kid. They had some minister where he didn't got portfolio. Then what the hell is he drawing the public dollars for? They call those ministers minister without portfolio. The thing used to be a joke because look at this song, minister without portfolio. It's so ludicrous and it is so funny and it is so stupid to think that such people are collecting tax dollars from our taxes, but yet he don't have no responsibility, he have no liability because he's a minister without portfolio. But yet he's occupying public space, getting a public salary. Well, we don't have no minister without portfolio right now. Thankfully, the Ali government did not put in minister without portfolio. There is no such person. So every minister there has a responsibility, has the liability, and has the duty. And all consequences that flow ends up on the minister's desk. That is how it works. And you know, when I was at Harvard Kennedy School of Government, and we were doing these courses in public administration. As you know, Harvard is one of the most prestigious, and that is why I chose it, to enlighten myself, to edify myself in knowledge, so I can become better at public administration and public leadership. So I proudly went there. And the thing is there to teach us how responsibility and so all these things, how they all come together, how it is exercised in public administration, how they have to be personally exercised, and how people are personally responsible for these things. They ain't got nothing like, oh, I'm aloof or I'm immune. They ain't got nothing like that with ministers. You get the sweet, you must take the blame. You must take the responsibility that comes with the sweet. You cannot be driving around in a black, fancy, air-conditioned, chauffeur-driven car and blowing your horn and driving through the people's villages and waving like you're the Maharaja of Guyana. I'm the Maharaja of Guyana. I'm waving and I'm waving big, you know. Never mind, I grew up like all the other Guyanese. I suddenly become, this big, important person. And when 100 people die, you would just throw up your hands and said, well, look somewhere else. Dang on for doing me. Check them people, check them, the staff. Check the captain, check with them. No. Accountability doesn't work like that. So I want to see the first witness as Minister Edgell before the commission of inquiry. And I call upon everyone there to put him up as a first witness. And I think, Minister Edgell, you should go there and clear your name. Go there and clear your name. Because everybody believes that you may have some kind of connection. You may have some complicity with this dastard act of over 100 people dead. And you may have some sort of explanations to it. And if there's an innocent explanation, we'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear what is the innocent explanation. After that, he must be followed by Minister Barrett. And he must also, and like Anik said, she was on WhatsApp and she heard the Prime Minister driving in the area with the siren on. So if the Prime Minister has something to contribute, then he should also be subpoenaed to the witness stand if he knows or what he can say about follow-up. Because evidence after the fact can relate to and give an explanation and a connection to the motive and what happened and if there was any cover-up. Because, the cover-up of a crime is same as committing a crime. Accessories after the fact. The man who's on the lookout and the man who's driving the getaway car or the man who's covering up and sweeping this thing under the rug, he's just as liable as the person who committed the act. And that is the case where I won many cases as a prosecutor in Guyana. And I got rid of a lot of violent criminals and kicked down the door bandits and people like that. And they were justly sentenced. Society got rid of them. So I want you all to share the live. Share the live and also join the group. Also like the broadcast and send it to share for other people to come on. Because we're going to invite people to come on the show just now and give their views. And there's two other items we want to talk about at this stage. Because I'm going to talk about it all, share and equity and so on. Not and now, but later on. So ministers, MARAD, the Transport and Harbors Department, inspectors, managers, contractors, and crew. Wherever the evidence leads. Wherever the evidence leads, you got to get the ministers. You start from the top. Start from the top. Ministers. MARAD, that's the department tasked with the maritime implementation. You have to, and the regulatory body. This is part and parcel. This is in their house. They are not strangers to this. They are indelibly involved. Like Martin Carter, Guyana's greatest poet said, all are involved, all are consumed. All are involved, all are consumed. So do not say it was a preventable accident. And if this accident was preventable, then it may no longer be an accident. It may be a crime. It may become manslaughter. It may become a reckless situation where there's some kind of criminal liability. So if it is no longer a crime or it's no longer an accident, then the law has remedies for these to whatever consequence and to whom will be liable sequentially and consequentially for the state of affairs. And that is how the law operates. And Guyana is by no means a bush country or a country without laws. We have these laws, and these laws have to be followed. I drove all the way to my office today to bring my Guyana Constitution, because many times people come on this show and they refer to sections of the Constitution. So how old it is? My Constitution was given to me by another lawyer. He's no longer alive. God bless him, in 1980. I have my books in Guyana too. I've left them there. But now I'm so involved in Guyana's politics and law that I had to send for my Guyana Constitution. Look how old this book is. All the pages got yellow. But they have all the pages. See? Yellow pages. But this is a living, breathing Constitution of Guyana. This is where I speak from. This is where I quote. This is where the lies laws. This is not them say here, say or them or lie say. This is living law. This is what we deal with. This is what controls. If any law conflicts with this Constitution, it's void. If any law conflicts with the Constitution of Guyana, any Guyanese law, or American law, or any other law, because Guyana is a sovereign and territorial country. You can't say American law, or British law, or Canadian law, or Australian law, or Indian law from the High Court by Justice Bhagarati, or whosoever Rati the name, is more important or takes precedence over the Constitution. Let me tell you in Latin, any law that conflicts with that Constitution is pro tanto void. Do you know what pro tanto means? No, not anti tanto. Pro tanto. Someone was asked if it's anti tanti or anti tanto. No, this is Latin. Pro tanto. Pro tanto means to the extent of its inconsistency. That means that if any law from America, Prince Charles, Australia, Africa, India, Modi, or whosoever bring a law and said this law is better than the Guyana Constitution, it goes to the rubbish bin. You know why? Because this is the supreme law of the land. This is the supreme law of the land of Guyana. And you almost understand this. Guyana rules, Guyana Constitution rules, Guyana is sovereign, Guyana's territorial integrity, Guyana House is self-regulated and it's self-governed. And that's the law of nations. As per the United Nations Charter, Guyana is independent and it has its own laws. It has its own responsibilities to its people. So you can't expect Mr. Modi to come over, but then 100 people that die, or Prince Charles, or the Prime Minister of Britain, or the Prime Minister of Canada, or the Australian Prime Minister, or somebody in Mars going to have more love and more responsibility than you, who's the President of Guyana, Mr. Ali, and Bara Jagdeo, and the ministers, and the Prime Minister. And now let's get back to Mr. Ejel. And Ejel, you have a liability there. You must make them whole. You got to push. Listen, I understand I don't have any discourses with you on an intimate level, but I understand that you are professedly a man of the cloth. And I respect people of the cloth. I'm a man of the cloth myself, but I don't wear that. But that resides within my own consciousness. I'm also live a very priestly life, and a life very exemplary. And you would know this saying as I'm telling it to you. Just because you got a constitution, you got the Bible. And in the Bible it states that charity covers a multitude of sins. And all the religious scriptures, it states to you as night follows day, and as God lives, and as Jesus rose again from the dead, that charity covers a multitude of sins. So you, of all people, being a priest and a bishop or whatever it is, you must understand that you now got to lead the fight back. You can only wait on the commission for coming for clear your name and debate the commission and back to the commission and play bat and pad. No, I know that. The bat and pad, I have my little bat here. I can play cricket. Any of the ministers can play me one-to-one, as I say, man-to-man. I always tell people, come and play me man-to-man if you feel you can play. And they always get beat, you know why? Because I'm skilled in this game. I have the most centuries in America here, cricket. So if you think you're going to come and play bat and pad, see that? You're playing bat and pad. You peep out, you see the ball, and you're padding it away. Or you keep that away. That's another game that's being played. Okay? That's cricket. But when it comes to helping people, there's no bat and pad and hiding behind a bat. People are dying, like the lady said today. And you almost look at that Muhammad live. What did people come and say that? Muhammad didn't script them to say that. These are victims came forward, Amerindian people. They came forward and said, I have nothing to eat, I have nothing to sleep, I lost my kids, I don't know what the hell to do with my life. That's what they said. Didn't you listen to that? Or you feel, oh, what does he mean I listen? That is your downfall. That will lead to you being a rogue person. A person without portfolio, a person without a conscience, a person without God, a person that's not supposed to be a minister, a person who should be sent packing. Go and hang up your shingle and go and do something else. Be like us. Go and work with the grassroots and see whether you can survive. So, if you can deliver for people, then you will have fulfilled your mandate. So share the live, send it to your folks. Let us get more likes. Let us get more views. I'm closing off now on this, and then I'm going to take questions and bring those 4 people on. Investigate the chain of responsibility. So we started from Minister, Marad, Transport and Harbors, Inspector. Who inspect this ship and who did somebody tell the inspector sign off? If an inspector shows up at a commission of inquiry and he said Edgil tell he sign off, that is a major problem for Edgil or Barat. You know why? Because that person is saying, just like the captain, whosoever, this person tell me to sign off. This person tell me drive the boat. This person say I'm gonna be kicked out of a job. This person say me not gonna get for be on the payroll. This person tell me to hell with you. This person tell me take it or leave it. This person tell me take the small piece and drive the boat. By all means, get it on the water. The evidence has to be shown that if the kings told the common man, the commoners, you have to do this, then justice is saying I have a political part, a huge, a huge political part to play the political future of Guyana. We're counting on you. Well, first of all, you got to tell them to change the law. I'm an American citizen, proud American citizen. I've worked very hard in my life. I did my part for Guyana. I did national service. And I did prosecute for chicken feed. They used to pay us like, was it couple dollars to couldn't even pay rent when I was a prosecutor. As a lawyer, I worked for chicken feed and I served them 5 years. When I came out as the youngest lawyer, my father sent me to law school. He was the one who paid his way. I didn't have scholarship to go back and serve the government, but I served it for 5 of the best years. And I was so good, they appointed me senior state counsel. They appointed police legal advisor to teach police how to prosecute. A young man doing all of that at 23, and they sent me to be magistrate. And my 5 years finished just like that. And I went into private practice. And my first month in private practice, I made more money than I did in the 5 years when I was working with the government. I made more money my first month of practice because people came to me and threw money at me and threw cases at me that I worked and got more fees than I got in the 5 years cumulatively, collectively working for the government of Guyana when I started my prosecution. Some saying, what does it mean to life over power? No. Speak truth to power. Speak truth to power. Straight to power is like what I'm doing. I'm not scared of anybody. I'm calling them out. I'm calling out the injustice. I'm getting into the case. I'm looking to represent those people. I'm joining the team in Guyana. I'm going to testify before the Commission of Inquiry. I'm not there to salt soap any judge. I've gone up with judges lots of time. The bigger judges in the highest courts of this country, I've argued before them. So if you got a 5-member commission there and they don't want to hear the truth, or they're just there to shut down the truth, then they'll have a problem with me. Because I will tell them that this is a kangaroo court and you should pack up and leave Guyana. If you can't hear all the evidence, if you can't subpoena the ministers, if you can't subpoena the president if he has relevant evidence, if you can't subpoena the captain and give him some sort of immunity so that he can testify or withdraw the charge, I'll talk more about that later in my speech to the commission. And if you can't involve overseas Guyanese and you come here and said one Guyana, overseas Guyana, then we are going to picket you when you come to the largest diaspora of Guyana. We're going to tell you you're not wanted here. Why are you coming to us when you want barrel and you want help and you want us to speak to the Congress people as community leaders? That Guyana is being overtaken, that Guyana is losing its country. You want Albert Baldeo to call up the Secretary of State. You want Albert Baldeo to meet with the President's people. You want an American citizen like Albert Baldeo to speak his mind and to write the New York Times and to write in the Wall Street Journal highlighting Guyana's place. And when it's time for you to come now and account to us, oh, we are no longer Guyanese. It does not work that way. We bring that to your face because, I see a lot of them down here. A lot of them under the influence. When they come here, oh, don't talk nothing bad about the government of Guyana, you anti-PPP. I said, are you crazy? Are you stupid? I am more PPP than you. I'm not PPP or anybody. Now, when I was a young kid, I used to go and listen to the PPP, and I used to like the cup, and my father was PPP, and I grew up in those 1960s and 70s. So before you, Daddy Barn, I was part of the PPP. So don't you bring that crap, that malarkey, feces of a bird, to me because I was more PPP than you. So I will shut you down because I have letters of credentials and thanks from Cherry Jagan himself, whereas you have none. I have that. Go to www.albertbaldeo.com and educate yourself as to who this man is. Because and look at Cherry Jagan's book is there. Have you read any of Cherry Jagan's work? You claim to be PPP. Do you know who he was? Have you ever followed his philosophy? So the problem with some of you people is that you grab on because you want to be identified. And if you hear anybody say, oh, the commission must be held, you're anti-PPP. You don't like the government. You're a traitor. you know, that is utter rubbish. You should not even be living in America, the land of democracy, if that's how you think. You really, really are an abomination of all the great principles and concepts and precepts that America stands for. And you're way below what is expected, even of a fool. So let me tell you, those who think that criticizing the government and asking for accountability is wrong and it's anti-government, well, the government doesn't even care far about you, because if you were to fall into problems, they won't not even send your body back home to Guyana. They will not even give anything about you. So cut the rubbish. They don't care about you. Every man for himself. So I'm saying, you're not going to come to America here in the largest diaspora and come and pomposette with me as a district leader and a community leader, because I will tell the people, why you going to these people? Why you come here? You don't care about us. You don't concern about us as Guyanese diasporans, as American Guyanese, unless we save your hide. Unless we save your hide, you don't give a darn about us. You're out here to use us. And you want our barrels and you want our money, and we don't ask you for anything. So don't give me that crap. Don't dig your eyes out on me. Don't let cockroach eat out your conscience. You're talking to big people here. You're not talking to fools. And know your place. Whether you're president or vice president, who the hell you be, or prime minister, know your place. Because you're coming to people who have paid their dues. Like I said, none of you helped me to become elected here and break the barriers and to become well known so I can pronounce on issues in America or in Guyana. Not one. STFU. Okay? Those are letters of the alphabet. You figure it out. But coming back now to this responsibility, wherever the evidence leads, have a proper commission of inquiry. And you know what? Don't let the inquiry be the end all and be all. Don't wait an inquiry for solve anything. It's only going to come up. It can't even bring charges. It can't even bring, it can only recommend. Don't let them put that on the back burner. Don't use that as a vehicle or an excuse for incompetence or an unwillingness to help your own people. It's wrong. Share the life and spread the news and like it and send it all over. And those who have rubbish to say, you can say it. Those who have good things and those who want to be educated, listen, continue to listen and listen hard. Start making your reforms. Start making changes. Start implementing the regulations. Don't wait till commission done and these people adjourn and these 5 people go back to their homes, come back. Because I doubt whether they'll be able to complete this thing in one sitting. I doubt whether the commission of inquiry, if it's fair, and it includes us in the diaspora and those in Guyana and all personnel and all logistics and all experts and all people and people who know about this and people who travel in that boat and people who work this boat like Daniel and Millington and all these engineers and people who worked on that boat. It will not finish before the end of the year. And you take that from me because I'm pretty much familiar when they have the questioning and this and that. It's not going to finish till the end of the year. So don't think you got a holiday, ministers and Mr. President, until the end of the year on the MV Barima. The MV Barima itself has got you by the B. It's got you by the Valentines. Ballantine is a very good Irish liqueur. It's got you by the Ballantines. And since it have you by the Ballantines, you must address it and show that you care by bringing in meaningful reform. Because those Ballantines are not just going to go away. They're not going to just disappear. It's ingrained in the people's culture. It's ingrained in our history. It's part of who we are. Thanks to you guys, you've made it part of our history, part of our culture, part of our heritage, and part of Guyana's mosaic. Is that something you could scrub out? You know, something you take eraser, wash out, or white out? You just can't. It's lived, it's life, and it's living testimony of what happened, part of our history. Embrace it and make sure. Somebody said, just like how they promised the cash grant lie, and lies VP say our people is stupid people. Oh, it did all that? Well, all right. Well, the rubber meets the road on this one. This is a cash grant. This is not the cash grant where instead of people lie. Extremely ungrateful to Guyanese who live in abroad. Abdul Sheriff said the PPP government is extremely ungrateful to people Guyanese living abroad. Well, you can get grateful because we coming and we testifying. And you must also make it by Zoom and remote. In the world of international law, international politics, and international communications, when you want to speak to when the President of America wants to speak to you or summon you, he does it by telephone, he does it by Zoom, he does it by one of those safe connections. Same by the same token, you've got to allow people to speak from America, Canada, Texas, New York, Florida, Jamaica, wherever they may be. And Guyanese have gone all about, you know that. People left and ran for their life. Oh, yes. And they grew and they became prosperous. As far as Australia, I have people living there. Tell me where some of you are looking for. Just are listening to me from. Just type in the country. We have New Zealand, Auckland, India, Glasgow in London, Ireland, Canada, UK, Norway. We have people all over. Switzerland looking at us right now. So I want you all to type in which country you're coming from as I close off on this part, and I'll bring you all in now. Reassess. This is a very important part. Reassess whether criminal charges were evidence-based. The criminal charges, you see, that's the thing. The cart was put before the horse. You had the DPP charging these three people without without looking at the evidence, without extrapolating or without getting all the evidence or the necessary evidence. But the file was this thin. So you have to review all the criminal charges. Where were evidence-based and avoid scapegoating crew members, where institutional failures escape scrutiny. You got to avoid scapegoating members. Simple as that. Implement enforceable maritime reforms. That is what I was saying. Implement enforceable maritime reforms right now. Okay, Richmond Hills is looking at. Thank you, do not. Where else we have? Calcutta, Calcina, where else you all are from? Just type in where you're from. Vessel insurance. You know, Minister Edgil said about how the vessel got insurance. French. The A is from the French. I know if it's French Guyana or in France. Welcome aboard. Karim, a Guyana Devil's Kid, your hometown. You're there right in the nose of the hurricane, David, Devil's Kid. You're there right where the Barima was, boy. I hope you're going to help you all get some justice there. Because we have the exposure in this country from top to bottom. Implement enforceable maritime reforms. Vessel insurance. He was proud of me. I got insurance for this vessel. How you going to run a transportation thing with over 100 lives, human lives, and you don't have transportation? Are you out of your mind? And you're the minister? Sit down there and make policy and charge with this responsibility? Look, listen, trainee rebel also. You have to make sure you get started to get insurance. Call Lloyd's of London. Call maritime places. Do the research. Send people. Find out. Call your ambassador over here. Call the people I'm over here. Or call the consulate general. Call all of them to get the work done. You not only hire people over here to be thugs and rogues. You need people who can do the work of the Guyana government diplomatically and otherwise. And those people have to make sure that they can get information to you. Proper insurance. Who's going to insure my vessels? All of them, and the fleets and the aircraft. Insure the aircrafts also, minister, or ex-minister, or whatever it may be, the case may be. Manifest. You got to get proper manifest. Because your manifest was horrible. It didn't complete all the names of it. You don't even know as minister. You don't even know as president who died in your country. You're worse than Jonestown. Jonestown, at least they know, and they had the bodies there. And they were able to identify them with the passports, and they had all those things from the James Jones administration, the passports. What you got? What you have to say who were on that ship? Where's your bona fide manifest? A passionate discussion on maritime reforms and justice of Guyana. Where's your manifest? Who are the names of these people? What are their ages? What are their sexes? What were any medical conditions they had? How would we be able to know whether they died or not? How do you as head of state cater for every person? It's in the Constitution that the president and the ministers are responsible for the people of Guyana. This is why this thing name, you see the big long name there? Cooperative Republic of Guyana. You're not only a republic, you're a cooperative republic. So you got to cooperate. You got big name for a small country. You got big name. Big hell of a name. Cooperative Republic of Guyana. And you got, in this constitution, you got all kind of things. It was said by Arthur Chung. 20th January 1980. It talks about how Guyana is a sovereign country and so on. And the rights of people to live, exercise of president, parliament, prime minister, president, standing orders, ministers, Supreme Court, oaths, local organs, all these great things. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Guyana. Duty to respect the national symbols, the flag, the coat of arms, the anthem. Supremacy of constitutions, I told you, it's the supreme law of the land. And any law that conflicts with that is pro tanto void. The territory, sovereign territory. People who continue to be citizens and entitled to be registered citizens and born in Guyana. It talks about all these things, the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual. And it states that sovereignty belongs to the people who exercise it through their representatives and the democratic organs established by or under the Constitution. The right to form political parties and the freedom of action are guaranteed. Okay. All that is in the Constitution. In case you guys forgot. Private enterprise, land to the tiller, personal property. The right of inheritance is guaranteed. I'm just looking at the Constitution by a flip for using my my learning. The right to inheritance is guaranteed. So if you cannot give those people death certificates, letters of testament, and probate, then you're violating their constitutional right to inheritance because you are, by failing to declare them dead and failing to give them the necessary judicial and legal instruments and documents, preventing their constitutional exercise of right of inheritance. So again, just like the lawyers that were on that show today, the Hero Initiative, I call upon the government to give lawyers some work over there to get all these things done. In America, we did what is called continuing legal education. You got to do it. And you got to do free work called pro bono, so many hours free. Same way it should be in Guyana. Take care of those people. You got a set of lawyers there, Mr. Ram and Mr. Da Silva and a few others. I didn't get to see the whole thing. I'll go and look at it after this. But they have formed a substantial body, bereft, and a body that's going to help people based on humanitarianism and based on a need for it. So now, the last thing here for tonight, before I get to the people to talk, is the passenger limits. Passenger limits it must probably have a turnstile. And once, if the boat can hold up to 110, when it reaches 110, providing the cargoes are not overloaded, just a similar meter, it must give off a big loud sound that would burst your eardrum. You can't shut down that sound. The president must be here to hear that song all the way out to Chandipal Drive. That whenever you're overloading a boat or a ship or a ferry, the passenger limits and the goods limits, the dock limits, the cargo limit, it must give off a loud, loud song. Or it must be like them cars in America when a person is drunk and they pass the alcoholic limit, the car refuses to drive, it locks off. You should have something like that. Guyana should have something like that. That if they have all of this problem, as soon as this thing overload, it shut off. Can't move. And it must have seaworthiness certification. Oh yes, seaworthiness certification. I've always said that. Whosoever sign off on that seaworthiness must have the name, the address, the phone number, the signature, and the notarization that they certified it under oath. Under oath means you accept liability. So anytime the boat got on or the ship or the aircraft crash and burns, you're responsible because if seaworthiness or airworthiness lack of it can be proved, then the buck stops at you because you're the one who issued the certificate and signed it, put the seal, and notarized it. So where you gonna run and go? I'd probably have some sort of indemnity that you have to take out insurance, a bond, before these things can move. You all got all these big contracts that people take so much money, can't even build the contracts. And we can get to that in another program. You got all these contracts going out. Let these people, most of them probably getting contracts, more of them within the influence of business, let them lodge their money. Lodge their money. Put their money where the mouth is. Put the money where they're making more money. Put their money where they have a stake. Let them lodge money in indemnification. You put the millions there. They're going to get it back after they retire if nothing can happen. But in the event of this, like all those people are dying and can't eat and can't sleep and all that, you'd have been able to take that money now, the indemnification money, the insurance money, and make sure that Guyanese can eat, Guyanese can sleep, Guyanese can get medicine, Guyanese can get counseling. The pain and suffering of losing a lost one is immeasurable. Some I never lost, so y'all don't know. And some of y'all don't even care to know. And that's a problem there. So with that indemnity now, you'll be able to parcel it out to the people to pay out. And the last part is that you got GPS, AIS. GPS was like, like the man said, I don't even have GPS. I don't even know where that. You don't even have radar, GPS. And if you got an anchor, he don't even have an anchor. He got his big ship with over 100 people. All these are changes must be done. I gonna wait on 5 judges to come and tell me I need an anchor on every boat. I need a GPS. I need a manifest. I need a certification. I see how I got to tell me that. Then I should resign. I should resign if I'm a minister that a COI got to come and tell me that. If a lawman sitting on a commission after 6 months gonna tell me, brother, you immediately got to get this thing now. Seaworthiness certificate, vessel insurance, manifest count and accountability, passenger limits, seaworthiness certification, drug testing, GPS, life-saving equipment, radios, and a modern rescue service, then there's no purpose I have. We don't need a minister. We don't need a minister. You can put an ordinary man who will make sure, an ordinary man with a list. And you know when Hetmai was a macaron, had a guy with a belt. You got a man with a list that he can come around and check. And it must be a strong man, not a man with tech money and a tech pass and tech bribe. You need a man well paid and a man who's going to crack the whip. A man who's going to crack the whip. Sorry to bring in a colonial term, but sometimes you have to go back to the colonial ways for people who are still colonial minded. Because if you get independence and you got a republic and you still can't think in a way befitting your freedoms and your rights and your God-given rights, then you got to bear the problem. So you get a man to crack the whip. And if you can't come with this list, vessel insurance, manifest, passenger limits, seaworthiness certification, drug testing, GPS, AIS, radios, life-saving equipment, and modern rescue service, then it's better you go and break brick by. It's best you go to the quarry and break. Let me bring on my good friend, a man who's always been with me and a man I respect a lot, the apostle. I'm going to bring on the apostle and Maharani, Apostle, you there? Um, I'm gonna bring on Onik, and I see a new face here, Vishal Narain. So I invited Onik to join. Hi, Onik, how you doing?
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Good
I hope
evening.
you're all doing good. I'm going to go on just a little bit so you guys can see I'm on here. Sorry
Okay,
about that. My hair looked crazy, so sorry about
that's all
that.
right.
But thank you for inviting me on your panel as usual. That was an excellent speech, by the way. I appreciate everything you say. And I'm going to let somebody else. Did you try to save someone or?
Oh no, they asked to join, but I know they went off or so.
Oh,
But
okay,
you
okay, okay.
continue. What are
Okay.
your thoughts? Oh, somebody said about, are you willing to give up your U.S. citizenship to become president?
Or they
Dinesh
asking?
Prasad.
Are they asking me?
But they're asking me, are you willing to give up your U.S.
Okay,
citizenship?
go ahead.
What do you think about that, Onik? You're a fair person, so you tell me. Should somebody who was born in Guyana, who has struggled and who has paid their dues in America and become better in all aspects of life, education, and so forth, and if they want to contribute, and let's say they have earned, they're not a pauper by any means, should they have to give up their U.S. citizenship to become president of Guyana
I
or to
don't
run
think
for
so.
that?
I mean, Obama lived in, he lived in many different countries, but he also lived in Hawaii, right?
Right, and I think
And
Kenya too,
right,
the
so
African state.
this is a first world country, and
Right.
if a politician, an American politician, live in Timbuktu, and they want to run for office, that birth certificate that they have give them the right to do that. But the reason why they don't want overseas people to come back is because we are in a foreign land and we educate ourselves about a true democracy, and they don't want true democracy in Guyana,
Oh, I see. Well
right?
put. They become like dangerous people, meaning that people who can shake up the apple cart. They
Exactly.
can be disruptors. They can
And
be
just
people
like you,
who,
I've supported the PPP. I've supported other small party in my time since I got involved with the political arena. The first
right,
party that I support and was on their campaign trail was the United Republican Party. That's in '92. That's when Chetty got into power. So you
right.
know, they're trying to. One of the things that they do that I want to speak on your defense. When you got me and not put me
No,
smaller,
no, go ahead, go ahead. I just wanted to see what was the back there. I see that you had like a
but put me
thing. It's
smaller
okay, I'll
because
minimize it.
I look like a mess.
All right, it's
Okay?
okay. I'll minimize it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You
I was just
see.
wondering whether your hair was just so big, and then I noticed
No,
that you
no,
had like
this is
a
my hair.
jacket.
That's the chair in the
Oh,
back.
oh, because it make it sound like a big thing. I'm saying, wow, let's see that. Yeah. But
No,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Okay. So, anyways, what I want to say on Honorable Albert Baldeo defense. People are coming up on here in the chat, and they're saying derogatory things about his law license and all this stuff. They don't know the story. They have no content on it. But they come up here, and because he's speaking out on behalf of the voiceless in Guyana, specifically the MV Barima incident and their family, they want to sabotage him, oppress him, right? If you, like he said, you go to his YouTube, you also go to his website. If you can, you tell them your website again, so they can see all the stuff.
AlbertBaldio.com.
AlbertBaldeo.com and see
Yes.
for yourself. They're gonna come in here. They're gonna spew. Today I got a bus down. Today a young lady by the name of Amrita Singh. I literally had to go in the mud with her. Literally.
Look, somebody said I've been listening to you and I would vouch for you. I don't need to see your qualifications.
Good for
That's
him.
ENC. So
Good for
those
him.
who are smart enough to understand, and those who have followed my career, will understand that that comes with a territory. It comes with people who try to make a difference. And those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those who are willing to stand up and speak out, and those w But if you're a person who would suck up the people and be like what you call a curry favor guy, we hang him out where the soup leaks, then you'll be popular. Nobody would try to bring up anything against you. But let me answer them in one word. I am eligible to run for
I have my
president.
Guyana flag up there too. I wasn't showing it
Right.
on the screen.
But just getting back to
We
the
love
point.
Guyana. The reason why what I'm saying is we love, even though we've established ourselves here in the U.S. and we live comfortably, we still care about our country and Guyanese. Many of us doesn't necessarily want to come back home because we have children. They're in universities, or they have a job, and they wouldn't come back to Guyana with us, and we don't want to leave them, right? So, but we're coming out to speak on your behalf when things are not being done correctly. Like everybody's calling for the prime minister to come out. Everybody's calling for one. There should be some kind of respect for the citizen requests. When a certain amount of citizen is requesting the same thing, the politician should listen. And rightfully, the minister of Edgehill, he should
Transport. I think it's transport, right? And
yeah,
harbor.
there's most people are calling for these two people to resign. Okay.
And Indar.
Yeah, they're calling for them to resign, and I think President Ali need to start making some decision, because this is a lot of lives that was lost because of negligence. And
Right.
if it was a private company or even other government, they would have had to step aside and allow somebody else to continue, because when they were there on their shift, this when the Americans caught he used a manual device. When they get the satellite pickup and they send it to 1101 to Guyana, and Guyana don't show up for at least 4 hours or however long they took, that says something. That says somebody say that these people aren't doing their jobs. Either the guy fall asleep and he didn't hear it, and they're feeding the minister wrong information. And if they're feeding the minister wrong information, he need to step down, because he should have the ability to verify these information right away, right?
Exactly.
So, and I'm saying it in layman terms. Like Albert said, he don't want people with too much education, because the main reason, because he wants everybody to understand what we're saying. Okay, thank you. Sorry, go ahead, Albert.
No, I agree with you, because you made a good point there. If you're the minister and there's so much and it directly concerns your ministry, you have to step out, and you just can't step out as he's been stepping out and quarreling with people and shutting them down and insulting them, and just for like telling me, "Oh, why you asking me foolish?" And this kind of, I'm just paraphrasing here. Apparently, he's never had like proper press conferences whereby the people look. Today, there was a press conference held by Mr. Azudi, and I was very impressed the way of what they said there, and they promised a lot of the things that are called for what we did. And Imran, there's another one, Imran. And most of these people come up with different names, but I won't bother with them. Don't let's bother with these people, because a lot of them can check and see whatever, what happened in the past. I'm eligible for office both in the United States. I've been running for office here and also in Guyana. But let's get back to the point. The more you pay these half-wits or tweets, give them any kind of attention or giving them any kind of importance, that's what they will like. They won't come and debate you. But coming back to this, Onik, this problem there they have is that the ministers must jointly or individually come out if they want to look better. And then I expect to see them, like I said, as the first witnesses before that commission. The first name on that commission must to testify, or very high up, and I hope they don't have to subpoena him or handcuff him to take him to testify, is the Minister of Mr. Edgehill.
Yes, exactly. I agree with you.
He has to come and say, this is I want to hear, and if I was the head of that commission, and, they can also say what evidence they want to hear, instead of, bringing people like who packed the cargo or who load the boat, or I want to hear from the minister. let's start from the top. I want to get an idea of your responsibilities, Minister. I want to know whether you had anything to do with this, if you have any texts, if you have any logs, if you have any emails, and lock him into his testimony. Then I bring the others. So when they're going to produce a text and an email that a minister tell them for overload the boat or carry this or carry that, I'm just saying, for example, then you will know exactly who to charge or who to be held responsible.
Exactly.
So this is something they have to do. And I don't like the cover up. This is like a cover up. It smells. You see, if lives are not involved, I can understand why you don't give it a priority, but over 100 lives. And the initiative taken by the Hero Initiative is that the lawyers are coming out. They're bringing lawsuits. I got to go and look at the, I don't know if you saw it. It was a 2-3 hour live by the opposition leader and his group talking about what they plan to do.
Was it on Facebook or was it on?
It was on Facebook, on their Facebook page. I have to go back and
watch it. I have to go.
I have to see it. I think it's a very, very sick. And Christopher Ram, who I met here like a week ago, and then you can't say Christopher Ram is
Christopher Ram, nice guy.
Yeah, you can't say he's a member of any political party, a diehard political party. He's a man there for his conscience, a very experienced man, a very learned man, and a very distinguished man, a man with a conscience, an elder of Guyana, so to speak. He's in it saying, well, this got to be done and this must be done. And so when big people like this come out and speak, leaders of civil society, leaders of civic society, these are the exact people we need to talk about these things, you know? These are the exact people that we need to talk about these things. And I take my hat off to them. I'm going to bring on Justice now. Justice also wants to encourage me to go and be president of Guyana. And I guess, I don't know if I'll have to run against you, Anik. If you run for presidency too, it's your constitutional right. You know?
Well, it doesn't matter who runs for president. What matters is who have the qualifications to be able to do this job. And you, Albert, have a lot of qualifications. The reason why I even ran to begin with is because a friend of mine asked me to run because he see how I write, he realized I can reason, and I understand what I'm talking about, right?
Right. And that your heart is in the right place, your conscience is there.
I have responsibility.
You're running for the people.
Here. I have my son at the time, he was in high school. It wasn't, I'm his mom. My first charity begins at home, right? But I was trying to navigate how I can do both. And then it got to a point where I made a decision, I can't get involved because of the fact that the way how politics operate in Guyana, it's PPP or APNU, right? So it didn't make
or win. Don't forget to win
now. For me to collate with the other smaller party because I knew they were only going to get one seat, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't join WIN because of my situation here in the States with my family. I didn't want to lose any of the privileges that I have here. And I told the gentleman, if for some reason God decided that he wanted to make me a leader and the people want that for me also, then I would give him make sure whatever evidence they send, I would make sure that it's credible, okay? And all the parties involved with this transaction is held accountable, not just him and his father alone.
Right.
You understand? That's what I would give. And if he didn't had any of this legal issues here with America, I would have joined him first word. Even if I didn't get a position, because it's not about position. It's about changing the system in Guyana. Like I'll say, we have to change this this oppressed state that we in. The other channel I was on, well, actually I was on my own. They start to talk about the Federal Reserve. A young man came up and he said Guyana don't have a Federal Reserve. To be honest, I didn't know. So I researched it. When I researched it, I was so surprised. Not only don't they have it, but why not having it is affecting them. And in that moment, I'm thinking to myself, PPP have a lot of qualified people. All of them got masters, PhD, and all these things. And if you will allow me, I can go over what I've learned. If not, that's okay too. We can do it at another time. But it's important for Guyanese to know why we don't have a gold reserve, how important it is to have this gold reserve, right?
Right.
That's important, but we can cover that in another segment
True.
if you like.
Are you prepared to testify before the commission? We're hoping that we'll be included. I expect us to be Zoom, and we can, not everyone have the time to jump on a plane. We should be able to deliver our testimony. I've been working on mine. I know you also have work on yours.
Yeah.
And we have a group that's working on this too. So what do you think about that? What's the update?
For what?
For evidence before the commission.
To be honest, I don't know the status of what's going on there right now. And the reason why I kind of disengage is because every time they keep coming out with some sort of like if some, let's say Win just came up with this other stuff with his Mohammed brother. He get all that money from procurement, right?
Yeah.
Even though he came out with evidence, he showed other people research, and still they're not. I'm sorry, I'm getting passionate.
Evidence is very compelling.
They get, when you present the information, instead of them being responsible and acknowledging what had occurred, and then provide actual proof of what, let's say yay or nay, we're not getting that. Instead, there's a bunch of influencer who gets loose on the people who are saying stuff. They have pictures. They're going to show pictures with Hannah, with her bat ears on the picture, and they discredit everybody who says what. So it's the only way we could ever get any help in Guyana about anything. It seems like it's only through protests and through foreign government. And the foreign government don't get involved until the protests get so big that the investors there are worried. The Guyanese, the overseas investor are worried about this protest. Right?
Now let's go to Justice. Justice, how you doing?
Hey, good evening, Mr. Baldeo.
Sorry you had to wait. We had brought you in and I wanted to hear your views, and thank you for your kind comments.
No, definitely. I'm a firm supporter of the movement that you're pushing as well. It augurs well for the Guyanese people. The reason being, there is no interlocutor to Guyanese politics outside of the diaspora. And I believe the interlocutor to Guyanese politics and the way policies operate in Guyana is the strong figures like yourself, Onik, and other members in the diaspora that can stand up for the voiceless, for the Guyanese people. And in relation to the laws of non-Guyanese citizen or dual citizenship, I believe that, once the government change, whenever that is, the will of the people, I believe that's one of the first things should be amended, because the diaspora have a massive role to play in the development of Guyana and ensure that there's equal balance in law and order in the country. As of right now, how the law operates and sits, the current administration, they're utilizing the law to their benefits and their effects. However, the regular people are suffering, as we can see it. And Onik, I would encourage you to, feed off of Mr. Baldeo's representation of the people in his attempt to testify to the commission. I think you should seek some information from him to get on board with that, because that is the phase of representation from the diaspora that every political party, we hold the balance to every political party. They don't like what Mr. Baldeo is doing right now, because he is changing the entire status quo. He's changing the way politics works and operates in Guyana. Queens is the is the headquarters to the PPP. Who knows that knows that, and they have turned their backs on their donors, people that supported them over many decades and years. And that's a kick in the face of people that didn't only leave Guyana for a better life, but these same people that leave Guyana for a better life were floating Guyana for many years through remittances, through sending back parcels to their families. And it's a new movement. Mr. Baldeo, once again, is pioneering through this platform, and I'm seeing other prominent figures within our community are stepping up to the play and following his lead. And this is something great, man. I totally support everything you stand for, Mr. Baldeo, Onik, and you know all the
So,
other
Justice,
guys.
which part are you located?
I'm in Queens, New York.
And have you heard why you say that this is a movement? Have you seen traction? Have you seen progress, along the lines you have said? Because I'm very interested in that.
No, absolutely. You can see the way the approach since the whole MV Barima tragedy occurred, and the uproar of people that were silent looking on at what was happening with the corruption in many different areas, kind of allowing that to slide. You can see the posture of the government. It's as though it's as though a vicious animal has been tamed when voices like yourself and many Guyanese around the world is standing up and saying, hey, this cannot happen. Over 100 people on your timeline and you're not holding your person accountable. This is the greatest injustice to humanity has ever seen. So you can see the posture of the government. You know, they're backing off tremendously.
But they're not coming to the table, and I think it's looking bad on their behalf. I don't know who's advising them. I heard a lot of money goes to consultants. But if you're a government, it's like you go to your house and your wife said you don't gotta take out the garbage, or help me wash up the wares, or do something basic.
But
And
Mr.
you say,
Baldeo,
man, I ain't got time with that. I ain't care about that. You carry your so and so. You know what I mean?
if
And
you're
you get the impression that they're behaving like that, as nonchalant, that they're not even concerned about it.
if you're allegedly complicit or will be found complicit in this event, you will not put your head on the line because you know it's going to be chopped off. So I think allegedly it's a situation whereby they see their the complicit nature that not only fall
Well,
on
look
the
at these people here. I don't want to cut you. Vishu Bhagwandin, assuming that's the right name, says, imagine people living overseas and trying to speak for us who live here. Thank goodness I'm here. I think that person means that they're there in Guyana. And it's thank goodness. This is an example of somebody who is hanging their mouth with a soup leak, or is afraid to speak up, as apparently they might be, for whatever reason. They feel if you talk about MV Barima, you're somehow anti-government immediately. And I had to pull somebody up in the park when they said that. Why I'm giving the government a hard time. I said, what are you talking about? And then I had to give him the whole spiel and let him know my history, that before he debarred or before he became a PPP, my parents were already PPP, and that he don't even know he talking to. And then that was a very crass conversation, so to speak. He put someone in the place, right? And I can speak Guyanese just like them, because I grew up in the grassroots. So when I done 50 up, he shame and he beg pardon. Okay, he said, by you're right, you show me a different perspective. But I'm just showing you how people have, like, they drink the Kool-Aid that Jim Jones had give them people. And when people do that, I have less regard for their intelligence, and I have little patience for people like that. Because the problem is that you will see things in front of your eye, but that's when somebody dig out your eye, so that you see something different or crack it out your conscience. When people start telling that, it means like, bro, you really, you're really deliberately, consciously avoiding the truth.
Exactly. They're that's what they do. They almost, it makes you think that they're how can you hypnotize?
Yes.
Like they
I
don't
know that's
have
a sad
a
way
voice of
to
their
be.
own. They don't have a
Well,
voice
thank
of their
God for
own.
America, perhaps, because people like us, like myself and Anik came here, we had to work hard. Nothing was given to us. We're successful. We've traversed barriers. There's always that, when you come here as a person of color, you're not really that welcome. You don't really belong, and you got to work your way up. We know that. We have had to change lifestyles. I've had to, buckle down, give up a lot of stuff. Guyana Friday, after Friday, I don't work. Saturday and Sunday, party time. I would go to the offices mess, I would have a good time, have a ball, blah, blah, blah. In America, I had to put aside all those things and focus and focus and focus. That was the only way to be successful here. And now that we are successful, right? We're trying to give back. We're trying to help people. The best way is to help people to think so that when you change your method of thinking, they can now think for themselves. They can say, it's good for you to bring a fish and give a man and say, here's a fish for dinner. But if you teach that man to fish, you will give him fish, you will teach him for his life now. You got everything. And I always prefer it in doing that. But some people don't like to take these lessons, or they don't like to develop themselves. Look, Bring is saying, Uncle, we need you to be our next president. Just saying, Brina. And I understand why people are saying these things, because they don't seem to have any alternative in there, And I'm going to bring on Lloyd Drapal on it. So you should stay on the line, because Lloyd, Justice, you want to complete your thought before I bring on Lloyd? Because Lloyd is very much, and then they got Milkshake. So we can't bring on Lloyd and Milkshake at the same time.
Oh my goodness. Once again, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm going to continue to listen in and support and jump in from time to time. So, yeah, I'm here. I'll be in the comment section and as you dialogue with other guys.
Well, I thank you for your contributions and your encouragement. And I'll tell you, what we give up here to go to Guyana to do work is like to give up a good lifestyle, medical care. As Onyx said, you'll be lacking in a lot of things. Just think of it. When the blackout hits you in Guyana, people don't experience that kind of stuff here. It's gonna be a but I used to experience it.
He's not in here
That
today.
is so true.
It's not, because I'll tell you something, brother. I was a young lawyer. I was going to write decisions as a magistrate. I go and take my little rest. I eat my little food 5 o'clock. From 7 o'clock, I get up, ready to work through the night. Bam, blackout.
Oh my
And
God.
you can't see TV, no thing. I had to go and attach batteries to my car and keep the car running and do a 2-hour work. And I used to say to myself, and the place hot, man.
Wow.
It's not like you got a fan or air condition, right? You're that miserable down there. Then you got a thief man coming peeping through your window. And I still got my house in Baldeo, a very good residential area.
Wow.
And I'm saying to myself, man, it's how this country get like this. I can't live here no more, man. I got to find my way out,
Yeah.
And you got no law books. You don't got no books to go and consult. You don't got no. I had my own office and so on in Georgetown. I still have it, and you can't consult no books. God must have given me that chance to keep that office, because you know what? More and more I'm feeling that call. Where you left, you must go back to. Where you left, you must go back to. Because life is a cycle. Life is a cycle, and no matter what you do, eventually God brings you back to where you started. And he probably bring you with a resumption and redemption. And it's something I got to consider very, very, very carefully, But Lloyd is here now. Let's say, Lloyd, what have you got to say? What do you think, first of all, of the press conference that Mr. Mohammed had? And forget the politics of it. I'm talking about the solutions he brought to the table, the willingness to help those people pro bono, and calling for compensation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree with Mr. Mohammed 100%. Look here, that tragedy, and I'm a PPP. You guys know that.
Yes,
but I
yes.
criticize the government how they handle this incident, right? I mean, look, Indar and Ejel supposed to, if the president, right? You got to look at it this way, right? You have party loyalty. The president wouldn't want to say, you're fired. It's not like in America where Trump is just fire everybody.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
This is loyalty here. So, I mean, come on. But the morally right thing to do, like what Nigel Darmal did when a lot of accusation came against him, he pretty much left. Right? That's the morally right thing to do. And we doesn't have morally competent ministers in this government. Look, again, PPP, the best party to run this country. But the way they handle this incident, I don't like it. And yes, Mr. Mohammed, he brings out a lot of stuff, right? A lot of things that a lot of people won't talk. And I applaud him for that. But at the same time, he's still wayward in a lot of things, right? And his policy of this country, again, his policy is a socialist agenda. That's why I would not go back in that party. The PPP party, they have a different agenda. Little, like I would say, neoliberal, right? But different from, Win.
So Lloyd, what he said he would do today? Just give me a little synopsis, because neither myself nor Ronick had
No,
chance, you know.
I did not listen. I did not listen his conference, right? But the things that he talked with compensation for the families, bringing up
Right.
the boat, immediately, fast, and for the resignation of the ministers, right? Yeah, I agree with him on that. I mean, come
I think
on,
we
who would
talk
not
about five
agree with that?
thousand dollars. Was that US or
I don't know about that. It's supposed to be more than that. 5,000 US a million Guyana. So
gotta
I
be
think
more
it
than
should
that?
be
But at
more.
least a start and funeral expenses. Have they been paying the funeral expenses so far? The government?
Well, yes, they have been. I
Okay.
spoke with couple families, right? And they got like 300,000 per funeral, which I think is too small. Cause funeral these days is close to like 500,000 GYD,
And how
right?
much they get?
So
300.
yeah, they got 300. Well, according to the one family I spoke with, they got 300,000. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
It's
think
more expensive to die than live, Lloyd. Yeah, we're here too, If ever
bro,
you
bro,
come to America, you might got leadership in industry and open a burial place, a sort of what you call them place again?
funeral home.
Funeral home. They make
Yeah.
millions here.
Yeah. I lost my mom and dad in 2019, 2021, and trust me, close to a mil, right?
Correct. In Guyana.
Yeah, in Guyana,
It's very,
right?
very hard. Yes, brother. It's
Yeah.
true.
So,
Now, so I'm glad you said it, but you said something there. Has Mohammed ever come out and said he's a socialist? I hope he's not
no,
saying
you got to look at
things
his
like that.
manifesto. You got to
Oh,
look at his
okay.
manifesto, right? There's a socialist manifesto that he brought forward. And for me, I don't believe in cash grant and stuff like this. Yes, we need to have social benefits to the population, but sharing out free money literally causes inflation. It kills the economy, man. It kills hardworking people. It makes the money in your pocket depreciate. I'm a hardworking guy. I work pretty much very hard for everything that I have and own. And if you're gonna share out money now, I spent $300 for buy a bundle of boro. Now they share out money freely. Inflation. Now I gotta spend $600 for the same bundle of boro that I spent yesterday to buy. Now make it make sense. That's the agenda. That's why I'm not on the win bandwagon. That's why I'm saying the PPP with their manifesto, it's far better how they run the country. And just a note, right? They could do things better. Trust me, they could. But I mean,
They could do better, right?
who else do we have? Like, come on, look at this cabinet minister, cabinet, right? Win cabinet. I mean, who's the smartest in that cabinet? You are smarter than most in that. It is in parliament, bro. So
Yeah, I've
it
heard
just
that they're
goes to
not
show,
too
right?
bright,
Yeah.
and I was thinking of that. But you mean they do have some intellectual giants in the PvP? I know some of them as Guyana scholars like Ashley Singh and quite a few there. But these are bright people if they put their shoulders to the wheel, and if they take command.
Exactly.
Look, a guy who went to school with me, Frank Anthony, the Minister of Health, Queen's College. I mean, these are bright folk. These are guys who can lift the game. But you gotta lift your game and you gotta tell the president, buddy, if you give me this portfolio, with all due respect, I can gotta be able to do what I want to do here in the sense that you gotta allow me to do my thing. You know?
Okay, so to answer to Lloyd Rep, I researched it because I was interested in what you're saying about the Win Party manifesto is socialist.
Yeah.
It turned out that that's not the case. Would you like me to read what I looked up?
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay.
Lighten.
Okay. So the overview of the manifesto is what tells you if they're socialists or not, and Albert can cut in anytime he wants. Okay. And it says here they focus on populist economic reform, social welfare improvement, lower taxes, better government, standard market economy framework, rather than advocating for collective or state ownership of the means of production. Number one, their economic proposal pledge reduction in value added VAT, lower personal income tax, and cut to vehicle import duties. Now, under social welfare, promise increased welfare spending, decentralized social protection services, and expanded education and health initiative. Resource management, focus on renegotiating terms with multinational corporation like ExxonMobil, to secure higher state revenue rather than dismantling capitalism. Their political alignment, they formed as grassroots, multi-ethnic alternative to traditional parties, appealing broadly across economic classes without, again, I said again, without a Marxist or anti-capitalist ideology. Now, you can go to my Facebook, you'll see I say things in favor of win in the past, I say things against. So I'm not reading this I'm not a win advocate here. I'm speaking truth. I'm sharing you what they
So I
ran
see your
for.
point. It's a good point. What he should do, and I would advise him of this. You know, when I run for politics here, sometimes people ask me, "Are you a Republican or a Democrat, or are you to the left or are you to the right?" And I always give them this one answer, so that way I don't lose votes or I don't make up a mistake. I would say, listen, there's no Republican way or Democratic way to pick up the garbage, to fill the pothole, to create schools, or to help people get more jobs, or to help in healthcare and what have you. There's only the right way. And whether that happens to be Democrat or Republican, then you can call me that. But I am for the right way. And you give an answer like that because anytime they try to trap you and tell you define yourself as a socialist, communist, or so forth, and I hope Mr. Muhammad is listening. Do not define yourself, or Mr. Ali, do not define yourself along a particular way. These are, like you said, capitalists, like Onyx said, capitalism will always be very, very popular at this point in time because socialism has run its communism and so on. But instead of you going down, I just said I would like to be the right person, whether it's right or left, there's always a right way of doing something. And that is the people's way. And that's who I am as Albert Baldeo as a politician. That's what I stand for. And that is what I ask people to vote for me. So that way you keep the answer very simple and you don't throw away half of the votes this way or half the votes that way, left or right, Democrat or Republican. You try to just go down to the middle. And most Guyanese are conservative. We are very sort of like more Republican than Democrat because a lot of us have these values, conservative values. We're religious people, we're law-abiding, we're simple people, and we naturally fit into that, Somebody said justice, independent, conservative, which is right, And so what I wanted to ask him, we didn't get to read that stuff, but Amina, I don't know if Amina wants to join. She said to join her as a guest. Israel could welcome aboard. Abdul Sharif said here, folks, that most of those ministers who are educated in the PPP civic are corrupted. Is that a view you share, Lloyd?
Most of who in the PPP? Rephrase the question.
Yeah.
No, rephrase the question, please. I didn't hear you. Sorry.
They said most of the ministers who are educated in the PPP, it means the bright ones, are corrupted.
I don't know about that. If they have evidence to bring forward, then I could give my take on that. But now it's just hearsay, propaganda.
I know, but what it's saying is that these boys are bright, but they're under control. I would say corrupted. Perhaps they're under the control. And, they also had a saying in some presidents before us that when you're too bright, they don't want you to shine. And that's not the right thing to do. You got to try to get people to come in and bring the ideas and tolerate it. That's why you get in the minister work for let them prove themselves. Obama was a man like that. He would give people opportunities. He took Hillary Clinton, its greatest enemy, so to speak, politically, and made her Secretary of State because he knows she could do the job. So, I think there's always something there that we can get to do better. We'll bring in Apostle. Apostle has some very brilliant ideas.
Before you got to Apostle, right? He had somebody made a comment in the section that you guys don't live in Guyana and you shouldn't have a say. You guys should tell that person that the economy in the 90s, right? After sugar was people in the diaspora that helped prop our economy up. And you guys, look, if it wasn't for the people in the diaspora, Guyana would pretty much be shit poor because of the border policies and, we want to get to the carton XYZ, right? So people in the diaspora, they are very, you guys, kudos to you, right? I don't care which party you support. The main thing that you're putting a voice out on our country. And you guys help propped up because of, you guys used to send barrels and stuff, billions of dollars. This after sugar in the 90s, I read it somewhere. So, yes, you guys have a say in what's going on in our country. So that person in the comment section that made a statement, stupid. Yeah.
What do you have to say about that, Apostle?
Thank you for saying that, Lord. We really do appreciate it.
What he has said is commendable, but I'll say this more. If we draw on that foundation, if we go to lots of countries around the world, they are at the height and pinnacle of their economies to be successful because they borrow on the expertise, the schooling and knowledge, like yourself, who is a very learned legal mind, engineers, doctors, teachers. The thing with Guyana is that our academic system is lagging behind because our system is so antiquated, out of touch, out of sync of reality, that most of the people coming out of University of Guyana does not meet the benchmark for economic supremacy, because I learned in 1990 when Bang Zayech, Mr. Clifford Reese, made it publicly known that the students coming out of the Guyana University is a bunch of undesirable, because he said even to enter to the entrance of jobs at Bang Zayech, the level of our education is far beneath that of the entry level of Bang Zayech workers. So shouldn't that say something? And I think that is when Mr. Hoyt, with no uncertainty, said that private sector must become a part of the integral body to design our academic curriculum, because we need to have our education system matching that of the industrial need of Guyana. So we have a lot to contribute to the diaspora, those who are in America, because of late I've seen President Trump is calling for Europe not only to become a business partner, but for those highly technological advanced European nations to partner with America and to begin to create more training schools in the industrial advanced development of America, so that when they leave, American citizens are still equipped to take on the task to keep American economy running. This is the same type of thing that is needed in Guyana. And who can do it more better than us Guyanese in the diaspora, loving our country and bringing value and value-added systems to Guyana to see the advancement in a greater scale. So, and I'll also put here that we need a wide-based, nationwide academic curriculum that is not just geared for the St. Stanislaus, St. Joseph, St. Rose's, and all these schools, but a wide base from nursery to university, a very clear 21st century model of education like the rest of the first world. And that's where we will see Guyana and Guyanese really bringing the meat to the pot of Guyana's economic glory.
And what do you think, Apostle? I was asked you this. Shouldn't the minister Edil be the first witness before the COI or very high up there?
Well, it needs to be, because I just saw Capital News, the news anchor on the East Coast where I'm from, where Travis Chase worked that channel, HGPT, Halagala. He is saying that, Hali is saying that there will be no removal of Indar or Ejel until the inquiry is final. That is totally disrespectful. And indeed, I think Indar and Ejel need to be a part of that investigation or inquiry, so they can be properly questioned to answer for the lopsidedness of their management that failed the Guyanese people, to the lack of management that caused the death of those people. So a CIOG or inquiry without the presence of Indar and Ejil taking place is a misfit of justice and a misstep in the wrong direction.
Well, what do you
And
think of the
we,
chances of a corruption in the sense of the possibility of opening up that to a possible obstruction of justice? Meaning that if let's say I'm the minister and something comes across my desk, and you know everything important got to come across the minister's desk, and
yeah,
that happens to be the original lack of certification of that vessel,
yes,
whereby I had said, well, okay, forget about this problem here, let the vessel sail. And that comes across the desk, and I'm facing possible criminal charges. The risk that as minister that I will destroy those documents in order to save my hind. Do you think that is reason enough to disqualify or to have him remove himself so that there will be a just inquiry?
he needs to recuse himself because in any honorable circumstances where he can, like you said, tamper with evidence, fix
Destroy evidence.
and destroy evidence and all of that. You don't want such a action be taken by a minister who is okay. Some might say innocent until proven guilty on the court of law. But the best thing for him to do, or in any inquiry, recuse yourself, and so the investigations can be further seen as transparent. There, where you get the entire support of the nation, whether opposition or those who are in support of your government. And so his removal at this time is very tantamount to decency and to public harmony. So I would go down the way that both these men need to recuse themselves immediately. But with the continuous being around, they can tamper with evidence. So I think they need to go.
I want to add a bit to that, Apostle, guys, right? I spoke to a lot of people, and they say that, okay, the minister resigned. Do they bring back the family? And my response is that at least it gives some sort of satisfaction to these people, I mean, come on. You cannot bring back your loved ones, but, doing that gives some sort, like, the government cares. They actually care. We're sad that this happened. I made a mistake. I effed up. That's it for me, right? Incompetency. Give some sort of satisfaction to these people. That's all they need. You cannot bring them
Exactly.
back. And the stupid
Exactly.
argument these people brings out, oh, you can't bring back the loved
Well,
ones.
that's a good point you made, Lloyd.
Come on.
And, they always saying in law that justice must not only be done, it must appear to be done. And if you got a minister sitting there, remember, these are subordinates. And as long as the minister is sitting in that seat of power, the minister up there by, let me behave yourself, by the minister still there. By look, the minister coming, stand up, everybody, like the headmaster walk in the class, right? I've been through this thing, I know. I was a magistrate, when I walk into a courtroom, everybody start behaving itself, right? Everybody shut up and blah, blah, blah. I'm not boasting or bragging. But what I am saying is that as long as he and the two ministers remain in that powerful position, the evidence will be who want to testify. And say, brother, me know nothing about that. Me see nothing. Me and hear nothing. Me, like the blind, deaf, and blind, deaf, and dumb
Dumb
monkeys.
mouse,
Right?
yeah.
Everybody gonna be blind. See, the monkeys. And this is how we're gonna go from ministry to, and it's two ministries, and it's gonna go across the whole thing. So when you're done there now, it can be a lot of people gonna say, "Bye. I didn't know a lot about this thing. I know who did the wrong thing, that minister, but I couldn't go against them because I'm scared and I'm afraid that it would hurt me, that it would fire me, or that it would do things to me." You see, there's always that risk. And there is always a risk of the president saying, you know what? When they look bad, my government looks bad. So the sooner he remove them out, he can face the world with a more tethered and more firm vision to say, listen, I'm the president, but I took care of that problem. I moved them out. And now he will look so like, he will look so like a leadership style if he were to do that. I don't know who's advising him, but all over the world they do that. President Trump would do that. And then they say Trump can sometimes get very angry and sometimes impetuous and what have you. But other ministers, I've known other presidents to do just that and remove, tell them to sit down for a while, no fire them, temporary, like Lloyd said. That's a reasonable conclusion because they ain't gonna move from there. These guys are not gonna move from there unless the president tells them to, President Ali.
Yeah, that is true.
What is more appalling, right, is that the whole country wants them to resign. And they're not budging. I mean, you're not respecting your population. You're not respecting the populace, the people that voted for you, man. You're not respecting me. I advocated for them. I'm still advocating for them. Come on. You got to do better, honestly.
Yeah, Lloyd, I've noticed over the past few days since I last spoke to you, you have become more objective, and I welcome that. And I respect you for that. And people change views. People matriculate. People like change, and they adopt better and more objective positions, and that's okay. Nothing is wrong with that. That shows a man has a conscience, and I
Yeah.
commend you for that. Is that a lot of people that's giving it this thing a second thought? That man, we help and we fight. You know, a lot of people from down went down there and fight. You know, for that election. A whole plane loads upon plane loads of Guyanese in the diaspora went there, you know, and fight. And when you see them back again, I say, man, I ain't too sure if I can get involved with these people again, you know. I ain't like what they're doing. Not all. Some of them still getting some soup. And those who get in the soup still are very loyal. But those who are getting second thoughts, and Abdul Sharif is saying the government in Guyana always victimize who so speak out against corruption and wrongdoing, you know? And that's not good. So what do you think about that, Lloyd?
What do you mean victimization? Like, you
They're
got to be.
scared that they would be thrown out of a job. They're scared that they may be targeted. Um, like if they got a contract, if they got some benefit. People seem to be operating on the fear. Do you get an impression that people are scared of the government?
Counsel, that is true. I am one
Okay.
of so as a Lloyd, I am sure one of those persons to be targeted by the PPP. I was actually targeted by Pow Pow on Aliven in Guyana in 2011. That because of the PPP, I had to jump ship and came to America for my own safety. So the PPP can't tell me that they're not involved in extrajudicial behavior. That's their tantrum. That's what they live for.
Oh, that was when they had a death squad, no? The death squad was operating.
The death squad, yeah, and Roger Khan and all them. I had to run
Oh,
from
that
that
thing is
country.
memorized on YouTube. I was looking at it the other day and I was very, very surprised to know that in Guyana, that is what happened.
You
How we
know,
think to that level.
when the question Ronald Godraj, he said in Parliament, he said, if I had to do it all over again, I would have done it all over again the same way. I have no apologies. Ronald Godraj said that. This is why he's no longer. Because God take him out. He's nothing more but a piece of rock. He's a scrap. Yeah. Because I used to be on Channel 6, Sharma. You guys could find out this from Sharma or his son. And they would send letters, Jack. They would send letters to Mr. Sharma and say, if you don't tone down the rhetoric, I will cut you off and I will take your signal away. So when the Jack Deo talk about PPP is the most friendly press freedom government, he's a liar. That man is a bold-faced liar. I was there in the Channel 6 studios when the letters would appear. I was right there sitting. And Mr. Sharma would say, Michael, wait, let me read this letter. I just got this letter from Freedom House. That if we don't stop, he's going to break our transmission. He's gonna stop it. So what Jack they're talking about to the PPP? They are criminals. I also in 2011 had to run from there because senior CID officers, my father, who was a sergeant rather, called me from New York and said, you need to stop going on Channel 6 because you are marked for death. I said, what? He said, yes, you don't know, but I'm telling you. As your father, get the hell out of Guyana. The PPP has you on a hit list. They're going to kill you because they find you too much bold and too courageous speaking against them. And I asked my father, how do you know this? He said, because forgetting I was a senior, I was an officer in the Guyana police force, a sergeant at that. So he had other people who was talking to him and telling him to tell your son to stop. Because they're going to kill him.
A
And this
question
came
of
from
fact,
senior
right?
officers.
Is there
Huh?
any evidence to show that the PPP ever did any extrajudicial kill on a live
Many,
in?
come on, brother.
Like,
Come on, brother.
evidence,
There's a
absolutely.
dossier of over 1,400. Roger Khan said he was killing and defending for the PPP. What are you talking about, Lloyd? Stop burying your head in the sun, Lloyd. Stop that. You're insulting yourself.
No,
You're
it's a
insulting
single
yourself. I'm telling you
proclaiming that the
right now.
PPP, right? That the
They kill
PPP
Waddle. They
on a
kill
live.
Waddle.
Again,
They on a live
evidence,
Waddle.
bro.
What are you
That's the
talking
thing
about?
about it. Evidence. You see, I
The
have
PPP
evidence
kill
logic based
Waddell,
Guyana,
Sean
right?
Hines, Lloyd, Waddell, Sean Hines testify publicly, talk publicly on live videos how he knew the police officers who unalive Ronald Waddell. He called their names, even to one of the police officers that unalive, what's his name? MFK. What are you talking about, Lloyd? Stop being your head in the sun, brother. I stand resolute anytime here to tell you and anybody the PPP are a bunch of murderers. I have no apology for saying that. And I can tell Jack Joe to the face that. Tell he to his face that. We have a
All right,
government
so
that
let's
takes pride in
move on a
killing the
little bit.
citizens. Come on, thank you.
Let's move on a little bit. As regards the Commission of Inquiry, Apostle, what have you been hearing from the diaspora? A lot of people want to testify. A lot of people want to shed some light. What do you have in mind? What have you been
I
hearing?
would say I support what you said. It must be a broad-based commission with Guyanese, the Amerindian community leaders, political leaders, Guyanese of the diaspora with expert knowledge in marine management, law, and all of this that can shine greater light on the government's error. You cannot have people sitting on that commission that knows little or less about international maritime law, and Guyana is a part of the international maritime law. So they must be able to ask questions with standards to enforce those standards based on international maritime law. And we would see as a nation where we would have gone wrong and what we need to fix. Because I believe every port in Guyana need an harbor master. The harbor master can't be sitting in some office. You got 9 harbors, but the harbor master sits in his office in Georgetown, and there's no deputy harbor master to overlook the boarding and facilitating of passengers and vehicle in a vessel to see the safety of the vessel, properly suited with lifeguard vests and where the vessel is properly supposed to be stored. Every passenger that gets on a vessel traveling long distance riverine area should have a vest in their purse. Even if they don't put it on, but they must have it in their hands, on their persons, to ensure that in any emergency they readily can have it to put it on. What nonsense is that? Safeguard vessels are the jacket is over 6 feet, 10 feet over somebody.
Well, as
head.
Justice said, that the vest was locked in a box.
No,
You
it
know?
was overhead. I saw some of it was overhead, but we don't know if it was locked. On one vessel going to some part of the interior, it was locked in a box. But on that boat, that
It is
was
like people said before, you enter this vehicle, you put on your vest,
Exactly.
and you pick off the name Albert, one vest,
Yes.
Doreen, one vest. When
Yes.
you reach port and you're ready to come off, you give
give
back
me
the
back
people
the
the
vest.
vest.
Yes.
What's so
yes.
hard for do the look? They had a
Yes.
teacher, and I'm sorry to read this. The man driving some trench and die. He must have got on his seatbelt or what have you. People like, oh, if when I go in a car over here, and I am proud to say it, I've never in the backseat, I would buckle up. I ain't care who gonna laugh at me or who gonna say, why like you're frightened? You're frightened for dead or what? I ain't care whether I frightened for dead or what. I gonna buckle up. You can laugh
Exactly.
at whatever, right? Guy, this day, why like you frightened for dead? Don't be frightened for dead, but I ain't one. I ain't gonna get into no trouble today.
I was
You know?
still safe.
You understand? So,
I-
So what I'm saying is that we got to get a new culture, and they must be talking about counseling and talking about all these things and so forth,
Yeah, that's right.
So
That's right.
I don't know if you can be able to handle this apostle, but I brought on Milkshake to join a very tempered Lloyd Paul Onick. And Milkshake, you've been listening to this, and I don't want to stop him because like he changed up his picture and he look more handsome now, Milkshake. When I saw
Yes, he
him
looked like people. He looked like people. First he used to look like a jagabar, but now he look like people.
Yeah, I never know that was him Milkshake, and now I see he come up in a new
Yeah.
a new profile,
He's
which is
trying to
very,
follow
very
me.
nice.
It's me, you. No, listen to me. He's trying to follow me and you. You see, me and you sharp like razor blade, and we look handsome. You see,
Well, that's good at Milkshake.
Jesus.
Milkshake, what you have to say,
Really?
brother?
Apostle, really?
Welcome.
Yeah,
Milkshake,
good
right?
evening.
I just
Good
want to add
evening,
a
good
bit to what Mr. Apostle said, right?
Uh-huh.
And what you said to Mr. Baldeo.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Culture needs changing. And for instance, if you check my page, I have 3 videos. I went to charity a couple of weeks back. and there's no lifeboat on these, these speedboats them. And these people are blatant, they don't give a shit. And there's nobody to enforce. At one point, I was videoing them and speaking, wear your life jackets, and then a guy came out of his office on my page, came out of his office, then telling them to put on their life jackets. And guess what? None of them did. None. Right? I asked the next boat captain, do you have life jackets for these passengers? And it's a passenger boat. He said no. So I said, if something wrong in the ocean, what would happen? He said, nothing wrong, you take his time. Wow. There's the mentality, the culture of the Guyanese people. Anyway, where is
Yeah. Like we need to enforce those regulations now. We can't continue going the same way. We need to make changes right now.
So Milkshake, let me hear you now. It's and Apostle and Lloyd and Anik is right about that.
Yeah.
And, when I used to go to Bartica, right? I was just like 23 years old, a young magistrate, right? They didn't have life jacket there. And I used to pray and hope for that. I think it was like an hour, right? You reach fast. But that boat used to skim the water and go up like that, man. I tell you, when I look back, the engineer right up like this. And I used to pray and hope and land there, bro. And then when you reach an hour, then Bartica, you're studying why I got to go back with this ship of this speedboat. I wonder if anything will happen. Yes, be scared. That thing is very scary. Yeah. So therefore, you got to get life jacket, man. Guys should invest a lot of money in life jackets and give them out free. Like how they give smoke detector free aid fire service. Is that right, Anik? They just give out but I think in Georgia too, where you are, they would give you free smoke detector. Because how many people die with smoke detector for putting in the basement?
We get free here too. You just call the fire station, and they come over and they put in 2 for you for free. You're correct.
The government got to invest in things like this, Milkshake. What you
I
said?
want to mention one other thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Are you talking to me or someone else?
No, it was actually Milkshake since he came on and he didn't get a chance to talk.
Okay, go ahead.
Milkshake, you there?
Yeah, listen here. Yeah, Mr. Baldeo, here what happened? The life jacket we were speaking about there just now, right? You see these passenger ferries, they don't issue life jackets to individual passengers, right? It is normally be where the passenger are, right? Most time this life jacket is be down there, right? So you see, you got to remember, there's got a protocol what is come that, what is initiate that the safety precaution need to be execute now, right? Like time to get a life jacket, abandon vessel thing. You understand? When they put these things in place, you won't find the issue life jacket. Life jacket is there, right? Another thing we I want just think a little bit the manifesto that Onik read just now concerning the wind. You remember? Look, let me make an example with APNU AFC when they were getting power, right? When they had won the election, right? You remember Ramjatan and Nagamutu? They were the one that reached out to the sugar workers, them, right? They promised the sugar worker a better incentive, better bonus, better salary for them, right? In the sugar industry. But when they get into power, what they did, you understand? They failed to do it. Instead they do that, they just give them, they shut down the sugar estate and give them a bonus. You understand? So they fail. You understand? So
why everybody failing the Guyanese people? I don't know why all people got to better.
No, you gotta understand that right now the PPP not failing the people. Those people need to understand. So far with their manifesto, it is excellent. You understand?
Stop lying. Stop lying. I'll call you. Stop lying.
Let me finish, man.
Please, bomb don't lie.
Right? So you understand this whole thing, right?
So, Milkshake, do you plan to testify at the Commission of Inquiry for or against the minister?
No, you remember the COI is basically for everybody. The COI going to cover all areas. Ministers, it'll cover Marat, every single area it will cover. You understand? They won't miss an agency or a department. You understand? Everything will be covered.
Did they say they're going to call the ministers involved?
Well, everybody going to have to be covered in the COI. Yeah, you got to wait until the COI active. And then everybody going to see what's going on.
They call the minister, Mr.
We can't speculate right now.
And he said, under the advice of my lawyer, I am taking the Fifth Amendment. What will people say in Guyana? Hooray, this man's a great man.
We've seen that in the United States right now, right?
Huh?
Right, we're seeing that right now in the US. In the US, what they're
Correct,
doing
with
with
Fauci. Right.
the CUI.
So what will happen to
Mhm.
Guyanese people? Will they applaud him, or will they say he's hiding the truth, or that
I
is
don't
not good
think
enough for the minister?
I think they will come out with everything, but we gotta wait on the COI. We can't speculate that that they might say this. We gotta wait on it. You understand?
So when
We
this
have to
gonna
wait.
start?
So let me give it the time until the COI fully active. Well, if they
But why
got
is everything come
they
to a
probably I think that's
standstill?
it early
Milkshake,
September.
why everything come to a standstill in terms of reforms, implementation of reforms, changes in the personnel, and investigations and so on? Why is everything come to a standstill until the COI does its work?
Well, the COI play a big part, Mr. Baldeo. People gotta know this, you understand? The COI play a very big role in this whole Barima tragedy.
But they ain't got no big
Everybody gonna
powers.
get
They
the full
can't charge
information.
nobody. They can't. What they gonna do? The
No,
same
no, the
reform the government
COI
is
is to
start
bring out the
implementing the
facts and the
reforms.
evidence, you understand? There's the purpose of the COI. COI don't charge anybody, but they will bring out the facts and the evidence. You understand? And the truth concerning this whole Barima tragedy.
So if the COI
This is
turn
basically
like
for
another
COI.
CCJ, what would you say? If the CCJ, if the COI turn like a CCJ, where the president is a corrupt fraud, a liar and a bandit,
Man,
pushing
everybody just
narrative.
look,
No. Why you
wait
listen?
for a
Because you talking
situation to
making
speculate
sense.
their own
If
thing. You
CCJ turn
understand?
another the commission where the president is a fraud, he trying to bring an outcome and trying to lead the 5 judges to give an outcome. Then what happened there? Does the COI make any
People
sense?
spread their own thing.
No,
You gotta wait
Apostle
for
has a point. We have had evidence
a
of that
formal thing
occurring
from
within
the
the last 2 weeks.
CCJ, man.
And his point is that there have already been some rumblings about somebody connected to somebody who is part of the government.
No,
There've
people,
always been some
people are
rumblings
just
of a conflict of
speculating that
interest.
It's
some
not
people insulting
speculating.
their self-interest.
Milkshake,
I
stop,
don't
stop
They're
speculate, but
speculating
the
and
justice says
insulting
the
Stop
themselves.
being a
COI
liar.
is already compromised.
You're not you're a notorious person.
No, man.
Which God you pray
CCJ
to?
ain't compromised with
Which God
nothing.
you pray to,
CCJ
Well,
ain't
all right,
compromised with
now we
nothing.
haven't got the evidence on that.
Which God
But
you pray to?
Milkshake, here's the
We hear
problem.
evidence.
They
When
have
you get
no,
the evidence, then we could
There's
say,
there's
yeah,
no
well, this is it.
enforceable marine
Only
reforms.
Apostle got the
Vessel
evidence.
insurance, for example, Milkshake. Vessel insurance. Do we have to wait on the COI to tell us to get vessel insurance for all them ships, including the militia and the aircrafts? Do we have to wait on the COI to get
No,
manifests done? Rigorously
no,
maintained?
no.
Passenger
How you're
limits?
putting it over? No, how you're putting it over, right, Mr. Baldeo, is the way you're putting it over. People need to understand government is take their full responsibility. They don't insure
But they are
anything.
not taking it. They have not
Nothing to
taken
do with
that.
government.
But they have not taken that.
You understand it? Oh,
So
and
how
one
come
other
the
thing I
people
want
get
to
no
Speaking to
money?
suggest
learned
too.
magistrate and you're so
Insurance company
ignorant,
with a
bro.
You
dump
know,
pay?
You speaking to
here,
learned
Mr.
counsel.
Baldeo,
And all you
here,
police
man.
fly your mouth and
Mr.
lie.
Baldeo,
You're a nasty
man,
person, bro.
Apostle, relax a little bit, man.
Man,
You
shut
got me
up,
to
man.
make it
You're
last
lying.
week.
It's all right. It's
You
all
know,
right.
Apostle, relax a little bit. Here what I tell you, Mr. Baldeo. If the people look at the last press conference with the president when he came out and said this thing, instead of the president said that they give these family them a compensation, right, or a lump sum money, instead they're doing something that the families them could benefit for the entire life. You understand? They're putting that in place for them that they're going to benefit the entire life, not a lump sum or just a bonus or a compensation they will get. Right? They're putting things in place so the family will be getting this money for the rest of their life. You understand? So there's something really good for them.
Well, listen, like today, did you see the live with Mr. Muhammad?
I watched part of it. I didn't get to watch it all because I had
Remember,
some
you
rest. I
bring
was a
out
little
like 2 or
tired,
3
so I didn't get
people
to
I
watch
saw
it.
there, right? Who lost their breadwinner in the family. The lady said, I ain't got a house, I ain't got food to eat, I ain't got a place to shoulder to lean on. That one child, my husband, whatever happened to him, is she alone? I'm a single mother. That was my rock. I looked at her and tears came out my eyes because it was such a sad story. There were several people that came up. So what I am saying, the lady get no money yet. And Muhammad now is saying, and I rightly so, they must be given money. We got money. He's type right up. So you know when you got them kind of
Yeah, well,
painful things like that,
yeah,
brother.
certain things I will say, the government a little lapse on certain things. You understand? I wouldn't say that they're perfect, but certain things they lapse with it.
But
They
why
should
they
have
dropping
improved
the
a little
ball?
bit
And
on,
you see,
things.
Exxon just come out and said we get back with 55 billion, and we can give you all some more money now, and the money circulating, right? And everybody prosperous, everybody bottom line going up, legally or illegally, and people starving in Guyana and can't get even a morsel of food to eat. Oh, buddy, I mean, that is beyond the pale. That make a government really, really look bad.
Sorry to interject, right? When you see people starving in Guyana, I mean, we get Cubans, Venezuelans, a lot of people from other countries coming into Guyana and making life here. So the people that starving in Guyana deserve to be starved because they're not getting the mass up and work. Simple and plain. We have jobs available. Currently, the company I'm working with need 400 people. And they don't have that. So if people starving, they choose to be starving, right? So.
No, well,
They
about the
choose to be
people, the
starving.
victims
That's
of the
fact, yeah.
Barima, who never had a choice in this. Those people who don't want to work and lazy, they make a choice. But those poor people who died in the Barima didn't have a choice. They were victims of government negligence, so to speak. There.
What job
Those
do
are the
you do,
people I'm
and
talking about, Lloyd.
what are the requirements for the
No, it's
job that
not government
you have?
negligence. You can't put it as a government negligence,
It is a
Mr.
government
Baldeo.
negligence.
You
Milkshake, shut
understand?
your mouth.
It was a
Milkshake,
captain
shut your mouth.
negligence.
Shut your mouth.
There's
Hey,
a
Bill, okay,
difference.
that's why me you and part
No,
ways. How
Lloyd,
is the captain?
Lloyd.
How
Well,
is the
okay, let's
captain
say the
negligent?
Albert
government
Milkshake
can
is
be
a
found
troublemaker. I
wanting.
saw the real truth of who Milkshake is today. He was egging Amrita Singh to curse me down. He kept putting
Yeah,
all kinds of horrible things in the live.
This guy is not
I
easy.
literally had to lower my standards to curse her, something that I never thought. I've been in this country so long, haven't had to lower my standards to curse anybody out. But this
Mr.
girl was so vulgar and
All
so
right, so
vile.
Mr.
I'm sorry
Baldeo.
that this happened, and let's share the life. You all like the
she
life, make
tried-
sure you share it so we can
Yeah.
get comfortable.
Trying
Now,
What you know what
Calcina,
happened,
let
man?
before she go off.
That is what you
Calcina
do,
Prita,
Milkshake.
how
That's
you
what you
doing?
do. Stop
Can I
making
tell you
excuses.
what
That's
I
what
was
you
sharing?
do.
When
That's
I
what
gave
you do.
you
You're a
the
nasty
channel, I was
person.
trying to share.
You're
You
disrespectful,
didn't tell
man.
somebody
Come
but
on,
a
shut
mother,
up.
man. You was wrong to
Happy
tell the
honorable
person
No,
somebody
no.
but a mother.
Gentlemen.
Let me, guys, the woman Amrita Singh, right? Do not have dialogue with her. She is a nasty individual. Trust me, and we're both people, right? And she cursed me down because I criticize the government. Is a nasty woman. Do not engage with her. Trust
All
me.
right,
She
all
will
right.
see
Let me stay
progress.
positive. We got
Yeah.
Calcina Prita. Calcina Prita, what's your contribution?
Now, I would have heard Mr. Milkshake said something. I would like to ask him a question on that. He said that the government is putting things in place to benefit the people that was affected by the strategy. So I would like you to tell me what is the government putting in place to benefit them.
The government didn't state it yet, right? You just mentioned it in the press conference that he putting things in place. He didn't get into
No
details
way, you
yet.
see, Milkshake, listen to me. These are the kind of things that people have no confidence in the government, because if you say you're putting things in place, you got to say what you're putting in place. Don't just come and say you put it in place and the next thing you know, years going to roll, months going to pass, and nothing happening. You understand me?
That's a good point. Was anything put in place to somebody say, well, okay, this is my first item in place. Free life jackets for everybody, monetary requirements, everybody boarding ship and aircraft must have life jacket on, or manifest must be thing, or something like vessel insurance. Every ship must get vessel insurance. We're going to underwrite it and help you. Or passenger manifest is a must, and so on. Has anything been done like that, Milkshake?
As I said again, right? Passenger manifest is there all the time. All vessels have to carry a manifest. Cargo vessel,
No, man,
passenger
a correct manifest,
right?
because you see what happened there. Over 100
They
people died.
have
We
to,
didn't even
the
know.
manifest has to be correct, but it's
A
there,
lot of people then we
it's
don't even
because
That's
know,
not
brother.
true.
transport and
This guy
harbor
lie you like a
negligence.
horse, boy. This
You
guy lie
understand?
with all his
Transport and
face
harbor,
bare. Oh my
the
God.
people them down there was corrupt.
This
Down in
guy's
transport and
despicable.
harbor, you understand? They had corrupt people working there. You
No. But I'm
understand? Who
saying
was indulging
implementing
themselves
the
in,
regulation that
right?
from now on, today's April, whatever,
They had their own
August,
fine business going on.
your Mazda or your vehicle will be taken off the water. or you'll be
Let me
finding
show
or
you
whatever.
something. Look on a
We
cruise ship.
need
You take a cruise
enforcement
ship
of the
when you go
harbor
on a
master,
cruise vessel,
Mr.
right?
On the
Do you
harbor
think they give
master,
you
as
a life
Apostle
jacket?
said, because harbor master is very, very important. He's made a case, solid case for harbor master to be there.
Harbor master, you
Look,
see,
Tony Rupert
this
said, government is only empty promises. Milkshake,
here now.
empty
Harbor master,
promises.
right? No, here what happened, Master Baldeo. Harbor master play a different duty,
Why
right?
don't shut your
In the
mouth, boy?
maritime
Why you don't shut
administration,
your mouth
right?
to come off this
Let me
panel,
show you
boy?
something. You see,
You
when it
talking
comes to
share
loading
ignorance
a
on this
vessel,
panel?
when you're loading a vessel, let us get safety officers, let us get superintendents, they get everybody. They get a captain who is right there. They get the chief mate us be right there when they're loading the vessel, right? So the state protocol, but in this situation, you watch that there is a little corruption in the transport and harbor, where people are taking money for care of people and carrying people cargo. You understand?
The harbor
So
master
it's not that
stops
you're gonna
that. The
find
harbor master is the man to
somebody sit
control
down.
of that.
Your harbor master
The
can come
harbor
and sit down
master
down
put an
day
end
one,
to
the
that.
harbor master. You understand?
It needs the
Everybody
harbor
play a different
master.
role in the system.
Mr.
He
Milkshake,
determines weight, he determines passenger, he determines everything, the manifest with the people who everything. If the vessel's proper certified, that comes through the harbor master. You know what we're talking about. And when they
Mr.
put that
Milkshake.
system in place,
I think
the
I think that the point Milkshake is Apostle is making is this. Whenever tragedy like this, God forbid, or something small or anything like that happen, they know who to go and grab. You're not gonna grab three people and lock up captain and goods and all that. Harbor master,
exactly,
you are the final authority body. Come with us.
exactly.
You are arrested. Minister, you supposed to be personally supervised, but I don't expect the minister to do that, right? But at least the
All
harbor
right.
master, somebody in the chain of command, he got to be the person that is liable. He's the man you drag away in handcuffs. We can't go around and bring all these judges to eat up in fancy food and camp it like show and then the air conditioned room and the talking this and talking that and the one more and you know the one the taste the pepper pot and the one got to see what the kite fast look like and you know we can take a day off to go here and then we can come back you know
Yeah,
and then I need more money for thing and so on. You
no,
know, and come and use the country. Then I promise my wife some gold. I would like to get some gold and so on. You know, I'll have sample some Guyana gold. Here's the best gold and some Guyana rum. These people come to their liability. What they know more than the people of Guyana? I wouldn't bring them there. I would
So,
put in the reforms.
Mr. Milkshake,
If independence means you're independent for nobody. Why is Guyana being run like it's still a colony? Why are we still a colony, gentlemen and lady?
I agree with you. We are.
Mr. Milkshake, you have any
Yeah.
idea when this COI is going to begin?
Just according to the government, I think it's early next month.
The president.
They're gonna start the preparation for
He
the
said
So
exam.
sometime next
where
month.
are them? Where are them
Yeah.
at the moment? Are they in Guyana?
I
They
have no
at
idea yet, so we're just waiting
they
until
are
they
the
set up.
hotel eating and drinking every night. They are the hotel. They are the Marriott enjoying themselves until
Is
the
that true,
CIO
Mr.
is called.
Milkshake? Is that true, Milkshake?
You know, the
You have any
apostle,
idea?
no, apostle getting here,
No,
yes,
ask
milk,
you a
you know.
question, man. No, what
Apostle
apostle?
enjoy
I ask you.
speculative, man. You
They
can't
said
leave
What
they're
apostle
in
alone with
Guyana. That's what
speculation.
I said.
No, what apostle, Milkshake? I ask you a question. You have any knowledge about that?
No, I have no knowledge about that.
Okay.
Probably,
Why do you like to fed
Can I
people?
apostle
can I
sponsor
ask
dinner for them
Milkshake
at
a
some
question?
hotel.
Can I ask Milkshake a question?
But don't go back to the old
Yeah, go
story,
ahead.
Onik.
No,
Because he's
no.
blacklisted.
This is not that story. This is about. I'll tell him what it's about, and he can answer or not answer. My question is: do you know that over 500,000 USD, a US dollar that is sent home to Guyana every single year from the diaspora? Do you agree that we should have a voice in Guyana politics when we're helping with the economy? This is, I
Very
mean,
good
I
question.
send money home. I have receipts. I can print them and put it up here. I send to my family. If we're sending money home back, we're part of helping the economy. This is before oil. This is happening before oil. So my question is, don't you think we should have a say-so in what's happening in Guyana right now, especially with the MV Barima? Shouldn't we be asking questions, being the voice for the people down there? And if you don't think we have a voice, can you tell the people why we shouldn't have a voice? Thank you.
Good question.
Everybody have a voice concerning every everybody, right? Everybody have to share their opinion. You understand? But when it comes, you say you send people the money. People sending money to Guyana. You send your money to your family to help your family, right? Your family
And
probably
the
run down
families
at that
spend
time.
the money.
You probably
The
need an.
families go to the store.
Hold on. Let me
But the
finish.
money comes
That
back
helps
into
build
the economy. It's
Let me
filtered
try
back
to
into the
explain
economy.
Hold on.
So
what
you're
I'm
talking
saying.
about.
Hold on.
I'm saying that
send
when
your
we send
money.
money to
The
family,
people
the family
send their
go to the
money.
store, they go to the store, they buy stuff, and that goes into the actual country's economy.
The
Okay?
national economy.
If you
Are
don't
you
understand
saying?
what I'm talking
Hold
about,
on.
politely research it
Yes. Are you
so
saying
that
that
you can,
let
you
me
know,
ask
you can.
here, Onik, you're sending $100 to, let me say you're sending $100 to a family
Even if
member
we
of
send,
yours to
let's say we
Guyana,
send $50
right?
or $20,
Hold on.
money, the amount doesn't matter. It's
Right.
recorded fact
But
that every
they
year,
went to the supermarket and take that
500,000
money
US
and buy
dollars
something for themselves.
is sent back
That mean
home
you
to
have a
build
right.
house, fund local businesses,
You're
care
helping your
for loved
family,
ones.
right?
So
Okay,
can I
but what do
explain
Yeah,
you
to
but you're
think?
him
helping
real
your
quick?
family.
Hold on,
Can
guys,
I
guys.
explain to him real quick?
I can explain the milkshake in layman storm. When
Okay,
your family send
Yeah,
money,
you'll be able to,
right? You go to the supermarket, you buy stuff. But if you don't have money to go to the
right.
supermarket, you cannot get jobs. The supermarket will close down, simply put, right? So the money sent from American
Uh-huh.
remittances, they create jobs in our country. They spending power. You got millions, billions into
Uh-huh.
the economy, right? So money circulates.
Uh-huh.
Just to let you know, that's simply put,
Uh-huh.
bro.
Right,
You
but
know
can I
the
tell
you know
him
people
how
in the
much is being
She
diaspora
sent to?
understand what she's saying.
literally help us,
But
bro. So it can't
right,
be
but
too
what I'm
harsh on
saying,
them.
even though you're sending, my question to it, right? Even though you're sending money to your family and they're using it in the economy, yes, to spend it. So that you're trying to say that if the person who send the money, they say they have a right to, question all of these things about how they spend the money or what was the reason. They get a lot of
Mr.
things,
Milkshake,
people need to understand how
Mr.
people
Milkshake,
sometimes they
listen to
charge
me.
fall to, you understand? A lot of people
Mr.
charge fall
Milkshake,
different way. But I understand
listen
what
to
you're saying.
me.
Yeah, you have a
No, no, no,
saying.
no,
On the
no, no.
bottom line, you
It's
get a
more than
saying.
that. Hold on, hold on,
Listen
hold
to
on.
me,
It's
Mr.
more than
Milkshake,
that. It's
right?
not just. It's not just about.
Even
It's not just about the money, right? It's also the fact that people abroad have businesses home, they have houses home,
Mm-hmm.
they pay property taxes, and
Mm-hmm.
collaboratively they send home more than $3.5 billion within the
Mm-hmm.
from 2013 to 2026, more than that, right? So when you look at it, the reason why the politicians is going overseas is because they know the power of our dollars. They know that they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't build that country without us. And Guyanese abroad is not just sending home $100. They're sending home millions of dollars to build those businesses that you see. Where else did they get it from? Where else did y'all get that from? Tell me, where else did you get it from?
Mr. Milkshake, even
Yeah,
self,
well, the bottom line, they get saved, man. They got
no,
saved with
no,
what they do.
Mr. Milkshake, even self, they weren't sending money home to Guyana. They are Guyanese citizens, regardless of which
Yeah,
part of the globe they
paying
go.
taxes,
Right,
They
right.
are
everything,
Guyanese
everything is about
citizens. And
helping the
not
country.
because somebody leave this country and migrate to another country, they don't have right in their own country where they were born. You
Exactly. The
understand?
Guyana
Nobody said
countries
they ain't
don't
got
have
right.
that.
Everybody have a right. You
You're
I'm on
originally
Guyana
operating.
from Guyana,
blog.
no, you
I
understand?
see we have a
You
On
gentleman
are
the
or a lady
bloodline
by
operating.
the name
there.
of
You're
Guyana
right
blog.
there.
Can you come in, please, and say have your thoughts on this?
You're
I
Sure.
don't want to keep
operating,
you long before you
Mr.
leave us.
Milkshake.
Guyana blog.
You're operating like we have been sent in. We are people living in the diaspora are outcasts. That's how you just putting it over.
Right,
That's your opinion.
but that was
The
his
way you comprehend
narrative.
it, you could say it how. I didn't mean that.
No, that is
I
how I
didn't mean
see you
that.
want to put it over because if they have no say in Guyana,
Well,
which
we have a
means
different way of comprehending things, sir.
No,
So no,
man,
no,
not
no,
a
no, no.
different
It's
way of
not a different
apprehending
way of
things.
comprehending things, right?
It's not
It's
a
that.
different way, bro. It's how you put in it.
Well, let me talk real quick. So
Because
it's a
you're saying
matter
if
of.
somebody migrate from this country to another country, they must have no say in the place where they were born, right? They
But
I
it's
become a
a.
never said that
foreigner
you don't
to
have a
their
say in your
birthplace.
country. You do have a say. Everybody have a say,
No, but
right?
No, but
you were
Anik
just
made it.
saying.
Anik put
But
it
the
in
question
perspective.
you
She said
asked,
that we need to be included at all levels of government from top to bottom, not only in the remittances and in the barrels. We should be included in all decision making, becoming ministers, member of parliament, president.
And also
Let open it out.
mail-in voting privilege for Guyanese living in diaspora all
So
over even the United Kingdom and Canada.
so why they
Yes.
would want
No,
Guyanese who live in the
We
diaspora?
need
you could come
mail-in
up
vote.
one
If
thing
America
earlier.
can
Yeah,
have mail-in vote, and this is a big
your ID card.
country, Guyana could make that happen for Guyanese in the diaspora.
And Mr.
Remember the
Milkshake,
mayor of New York City is a man born, Mamdan is a man born in Tanzania. Where was it again? Uganda, right?
Uganda, I think, yeah.
Yeah, he was born outside. Now he's mayor. Who gonna tell me he don't belong to if you go to Uganda or New York City? He has equal love and say in both. Oh, Barack Obama himself had, in Africa
And
so
and so
Milkshake,
on.
unlike
Milkshake.
Albert have professional experience, not just in the US, but he also have professional experience in Guyana, right?
But
And
Mr.
I can run
Milkshake,
for the highest office over here except president because I
And
wasn't
we
born here
also, not
or
only
vice
that,
president.
but we have exposure to better school, hospitals, and businesses. So we have the ability to bring that
and that is
type
what
of
they're.
conversation if the government would.
And Justice agrees with you, Anik, the mail-in ballot for overseas Guyanese. That's a very important point.
That's
That is
something that
what
we
they
should
are
have.
afraid of.
but
Now,
but here's the issue, right?
to speak what Milkshake and whoever else is against the people who live in abroad and their input.
Only milkshake.
This is what they're saying is
Not
that
against anybody living abroad.
Guyanese are not on the
I'm
ground.
not against anybody
right?
living
They're
abroad.
not on the ground. They're saying that people living abroad do not live with the daily results of political choices, right? Like, for instance, I don't know what he's saying tonight or many other nights, when people are in the diaspora saying something, he's jumping in and he's asking, where are you living? You live in the States. We follow Guyana news more than you guys on the ground. We follow Guyana news. You know why we do that? Because we know the importance is of staying informed, right? And we even you, Milkshake, I love you and I care about what happened to you. I want best for your children. I don't want anybody to have to beg or sue, right?
Okay.
I want these
I hear
things
you.
to be available to you. But
But
you don't
Miss
have to hang
Prasad,
on to nobody.
Miss
Go
Prasad,
ahead.
they know the narrative, right? They know the narrative, but they're just practicing bad PR. When you go on some of these platforms and you're trying to have intellectual conversation, if they cannot beat you, they will call you names instead of saying, you know what, let me check to see if what you're saying is actually factual. Let me use my emotions, but for the sake and the love of my country, truly, for the sake of peace, let me go and research it. They will tell you what you're saying is nonsense to suck the energy out of your soul. Rather, because when I'm listening to people, I'm like,
They have no
are you
objectivity.
repeating? Are you repeating what Jack Gill is saying? Are you repeating what Afan Ali is saying just to repeat it? Or are you now taking your time, the same time you invest on these panels, and say, you know what? Let me go and research to see what's happening. Let's be honest. It is Chetty who tried to stop that overseas voting. Let's be honest.
And to
Milkshake
be
was
honest,
even born then.
no, and to be honest, Guyana
The
bayan,
reason
only
why,
can
Hey,
in defense of Chetty Jagan there, okay, and the reason why he stopped it, you guys can Google this, by the way.
No,
Apparently,
I
there
know,
are
I know.
people in the UK
I know
that
what
was
Bonnie
never born in
they say.
Guyana was voting. So
Yeah,
that's
that
why
was
he
during
tried to
boredom
stop
time.
it.
So he
But
stopped
it
it.
wasn't
Yeah.
meant. It wasn't meant to like done away with. It was meant to reform and make it safer, where nobody could do what they did in the UK.
Did
Because
he reform it,
somebody
bro?
who never born in Guyana and not a naturalized Guyanese shouldn't be voting in our election. Do you agree?
Right, but did Chetty reformed it though?
Yeah. Well,
No, he didn't. He didn't do
put
anything to it. He didn't do
he
anything
put.
to it.
If somebody can look it up, so you know specifically.
All right, here, let us test Milkshake. Milkshake, you're in Guyana, right?
Yes.
Brother, you live in Guyana, right? Milkshake?
Don't go to sleep
Yes,
now,
yes, yes,
milkshake.
yes.
Don't go to sleep.
Milkshake, I want to ask you a question because I'd like to get your views on the ground. You are there. Do you think the present government is losing a lot of ground in terms of its popularity with the people of Guyana vis-a-vis recent events that have been happening in Guyana, including the MV Barima, the oil transactions, and so on?
No, they're not.
And he's
My,
Do you
right.
think they're
how I see
gaining
it.
ground?
Yeah.
Yes.
Huh?
You think they're gaining
Yes.
ground?
It's not really that
Well, how
extent that
do you
they're
hear something
gaining
different in
ground. I'm not saying they're
diaspora?
gaining grounds, right? But they, as I said, you see the MV Barima, you people will look at it all different way, right? Not everybody gonna think the same way. You have to understand that, right? People
Well,
look
at
at
least
it
a
all
few.
different way, right? But it's a few of we see nowadays. But you see, you're seeing over 250,000 Guyanese coming out and say anything. We just seen a few. You understand? A lot of people not coming out and say a lot of things. They keep it to themselves. You understand? People choose not to speak out. You understand? So
No,
You
but
know
deep
why?
down
You know why?
they
inside,
say so the government still
deep
No.
down
doing good. They're trying their
inside,
best with the MV Barima, but it's a little slow.
A
You
lot
know
of
why,
people want
milkshake?
to come
Because a
out.
lot of people nonchalant. They don't
A lot
express.
of
You know when they
people.
express it in the rum shop or at the supermarket and stuff. They will not express it publicly. But trust me, I'm on the ground in Guyana too, no, bro. And I could tell you as
that's
a
good,
fact,
Lloyd. That's
I
good
know.
to hear.
and I could tell you as a fact, they're losing popularity. You know why they're losing popularity? Because you have people that represent the party on social media. Stupid. I mean, you can't be so blatant. Yes, you're collecting money from blah blah blah, but you can't be so blatant. So, like, come on. Come on,
Yes,
guys.
but
You're not representing the party properly. That's why I went on Team Progress panel and those other panels, and I tell them straight face that you're not representing the government. Call them out for their wrong. Criticize them
okay.
sometimes. Because, guys, these people are not stupid. And if you notice now, everybody in the diaspora chiming in. So we expect to happen. Guys is going to be more smart.
That was,
And again, right, with the
yeah,
diaspora
but
thing, we need input from people in the diaspora because they're smart, they're territorially educated, university. Guyanese
Lloyd, you're
are,
shocking me tonight.
I would call
Lloyd, you're
most
shocking me
Guyanese
tonight,
voters,
brother.
right?
Trust
I
me.
would call most Guyanese voters dunces. Sorry to say that. Because
why you say that,
they don't,
Lloyd? Why
you
you
know why
call
I
most
say that?
Guyanese voters
Because
nonsense?
Thank
they
you.
do not
Thank you,
read up
Lloyd.
on manifestos.
That's
They have no
a
ideology.
disrespect to the Guyanese people. Them, you know
No,
that, right?
I'm not
Well,
You know
shut
that
your
is a
mouth. Shut your
disrespect,
mouth. You're
right?
talking
speaking
the
the truth.
truth.
I'm speaking the truth. If
Shut your mouth. You're talking the
88%
truth.
of the country is not territory educated, right? They're not university graduates. Now you tell me the other 12%,
So they're
only
done.
12%.
They don't have
It's
common
only,
sense.
well,
They don't
me
have
said
common
it, they
sense.
have
They're
no common
done.
sense.
Wait, but
No,
even
I'm not saying
Jaggiel
they have
said
no
it though.
common sense. But when it comes to
Hold on, Lloyd, Lloyd,
intellectual,
Lloyd. Hold
They
on, hold
got
on, hold on.
stupid. They got
intellectual
stupid people.
gaps,
They got
they
some
are done
stupid people. He said they
concerning
got
that.
some.
And
Mr.
they listen
He
Baldeo,
to
said it.
they listen to these idiots
counsel,
on social media that
Huh?
like yourself
you help
peddling
Lloyd a
nonsense.
lot, you know.
Come on.
You're a master.
No, no,
Yo,
Lloyd,
no.
yo.
I
Lloyd is
call
No,
learning
no,
from
no.
you
You
a lot.
told you.
I'm
You
telling
I
you,
no,
call
no,
out
Lloyd
Lloyd.
is
Lloyd, I
learning
can't
from you a
support
lot.
you, there, man. I can't support you,
But
there,
I
Lloyd. I
welcome
can't
this,
support
you
you from the
know.
one at
I
Yeah,
all.
I'll
welcome
tell
this.
you,
As you know,
Can't
Apostle,
support
you
no
make
opinion
like
that Sal they
biblical
give down there.
precedent
No,
for
no, it's
these
not
types
called
of
truth.
spiritual
Can't support no
awakenings,
opinion that
Apostle.
Sal said it. You're
But
And
disrespecting
people like
people
you,
like that,
Mr.
man. We don't come
Milkshake,
with
people
people.
like you and the others on this
Oh,
app, right? On social media can make PPP lose come 2031 because y'all don't know for represent the
I
party
telling
properly.
you,
hold on real
Everything the
quick, Lloyd.
PPP
you
writes
know
Lloyd,
like
when it
God,
comes
Lloyd.
to
like cult,
election
like
time,
shit, man. Y'all gotta
they
be smooth,
can't
don't
lose
man.
an
talk
Like
too much
election
y'all
by
about
they
Lloyd,
ain't
Lloyd.
get
hold
it
up,
like
hold up, hold up.
anything.
I second that because that's
I
how they
rammed it on
lost in
anymore.
2015.
No,
That's
but Lloyd,
exactly how they lost in 2015. The
They
2015
lost in
election.
but y'all
2015
hold up
because
real quick.
Nagamutu and Ramjotan came out
that.
and promised.
And then
Sugar Walker play a big role in the election, by.
they blame Ramatar.
Yeah,
They
know
blame
the power of the
Ramatar.
sugar workers, them.
Okay.
How much sugar
And they
workers
blame
we have on the sugar
Ramatar.
belt?
But
But
How
don't
many
I
you
think
know?
workers?
y'all
How
Do
many
missing
you know
it
people we have
though.
on
who?
the sugar
Do
belt?
you know who is behind the scenes?
Mr. Milkshake.
running the PPP.
Hundreds of
No
thousands
matter who
by
gets elected to be
Mr.
president,
Milkshake.
there's one main architect behind all
Thousands
of them.
by they play a big
I
role.
like what I'm saying with
How
Lloyd. You
much
know, Lloyd
thousand?
realized too that the power belongs to the people, right? The resources belong to the Guyanese. Guyana is owned by Guyanese, and we're seeing a lot of things happening. There's a lot of things one after the other. Who own what? Who get what? Who owned this? Who did this? Then this thing. You know, it's too much things happening one time. There's a whole cavalcade, a riot of different things happening, and
Yeah,
open
but
up
you're
people's mind.
right.
I used to be nice too to them and so on too, you know. I mean, I used to be very on a friendly discourse. But if they were to come now, I will tell them, and I wouldn't hide from them, but I will go to them and tell them, Mr. President, and I'll give them the due respect. But I will tell them that you're making a lot of mistakes. And if you expect people going to stand behind you, you got to be living it. You like an ostrich. You bury your head in the sand or in the farm where you got. Because people are shunning you, and you make it hard for the other person who won't come in or for succeed. Because the way you running things is like you just want to live out your second term, get where you can get, and that's it. And that's what everybody's saying.
But
And when I
host,
think about people now, when I see all these things about poor people, the one thing I came up with the grassroots in Guyana, and I have never turned my back on them because I am one of them. And when I see advantage, I can call a spade, and I don't like what I'm seeing, brother and sister. I don't like it at all. And a lot of people got that conscience to Milkshake. And look at Lloyd. Lloyd
It's
may have his views
disgusting.
strongly at times, but he has a conscience. And he's saying, you know what? I'm going to call a spade a spade. I am already a PPP. I've supported you, but I will not support you. Such a man has a lot of respect or commands a lot of respect from people
Exactly.
because they can say, you know what? The man lied. He's a fair man. He got a conscience. And I don't care what you said. The man call out
True,
things when
true,
he feel
true,
wrong.
true, true, true,
But he will
true.
never
but
telling
host,
people don't
but
deliver.
host,
I
But
always, yeah,
but
that's true.
host,
Come
I
when
true.
you
respect
could
people like that,
sell,
Apostle.
hold on, but host, when you could sell your morals, right, and your integrity for a couple of dollars, right, when it comes to your vote, right? Tell me, should we blame Jack Deal for that, or should we look at our young people that is willing to take a couple $2,000, a little $20
Both,
US, right,
both.
just for their
Jagdeo and
votes,
the
right?
youths. Both of
Hold on,
them.
real quick,
Both
hold on.
groups.
When
Both individuals.
truly your country is bringing in trillions of dollars in Guyanese currency, right? And you're now taking and you're now taking a little $20, a little $4,000, the same amount of money it would take to go party it out at the same money
I'll
that
show
they
you
would
something,
take
Mr. Bali. The
to party at
2020.
let
Oh,
me
you come back?
finish milkshake, please, right?
Yeah. They cut.
So the
Yeah, they
same
cut
money
now.
that they would take to go party at a hits and jams event, right? They're selling their votes for because they don't realize that their vote is worth trillions of dollars collaboratively, right? And this has been the new thing that our young people, and not just the young people, some of these old people too, right? They're selling their votes for pennies. How shameful. How shameful. And I want to land there for now.
Yep,
What I was saying
yep.
just now, right, Mr. Baldeo? In
Huh?
2020, right? When
Uh-huh.
APNU AFC win the election, right? Not 2020, 2015, when they won the election, right? You got to remember Nagamutu and
Ramjatan.
Ramjatan is who persuaded sugar worker, right? Nagamutu and Ramjatan, right? They were the one who, and Sharon Das is the one who get to the sugar workers and get them for come over for get their votes, right? You remember there was in Parliament was 32 seats, 33 seats. Come presently now, since they failed them today as we speak, the PPP hold 36 seats in Parliament, right? Coming to the next election, it's very difficult to have a party to compete with that 36 seats. You understand? Most of the seats that the Win Party have today as we speak come from the APNU AFC. Let me say in 2021, the Mohammedans get to contest in the 2021 election. Let's just assume that he get to do that, right? Automatically, APNU AFC gonna get back some of their seats, and maybe some gonna come over to the
But could that be a
PPP. You
reason,
understand?
Milkshake, why the government is being so cavalier or reckless
No,
or, you know?
look, I won't say that the government is reckless. You understand? They do look. Our government that do make some mistake, trying to do things, you understand? But that doesn't mean that the government, like how we are starting up here, that the government is 100% wrong and everything the government is the government. Presently, the government is doing good in
But
Guyana. You
Mr.
understand?
Milkshake,
Guyana is far
Mr.
better what they're
Milkshake,
doing today,
Abdul
and
Sharif
Guyana is
said that the
looking
rigged
far better.
election shut up
if
They're doing better
milkshake. They rigged the
the
last
what
election.
AFC APNU have done. They're just assuming that
Milkshake,
they rigged the. Everybody knows what the APNU AFC tried to rig the election. We know
Milkshake,
that. You understand?
if you're
And they will
No,
not
saying,
they're
prove it.
saying the PPP rigged the last election.
Yes.
Milkshake,
Yeah.
if you're saying,
Outright win. That's outright win for 36 seats.
no, Milkshake, here, man, ask you a question. If you say, right,
You got to remember in 2020 we last remember all these parliamentarians that had Winston Jordan, Valera, all these big politicians that had disappeared. You understand? They left. They already see that they couldn't get back
So
in
why
power.
did they leave?
That was the
Why
reason why
did
they
they
left.
leave, Milkshake?
27
You
boxes.
understand?
27 ballot boxes. You're a
You
liar.
understand? They had to roll because they
God,
know
you
they
make
can't
your
come back in
cripple. You're
power.
a
They
very
see it
live
already.
person.
No, but why did they leave? Be
You
honest.
understand? They saw it.
Why did they
They
leave?
PPP
leave
rig
because
2020
they leave because they
because
know they're gonna be
where was the
shamed.
27
They're
ballot
ashamed that they
boxes
get caught rigging the
with
election,
fraudulent votes,
and
bro?
that's why they leave.
Light,
They're
stop it.
scared that the Soku would get to them. That's why they run out the place. They're
All
scared of
right.
that.
Okay.
They created the Soku, so they didn't want to face the charges that if Soku would investigate them. So they all run out the country.
so
You
if the
understand?
run, why the charge wasn't still instituted? All of the run, why wasn't it still
No,
instituted?
they didn't get time for follow them up. Nobody got time for follow it up. You see?
Bro.
Hey,
You decide to go after them for waste taxpayer money.
you should
Allow
change
them
the
to
name
run
to
with it.
Mr.
They don't
from Mr.
disappear.
Milkshake to Mr. Excuse.